Good morning, and welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football. Welcome into the show, everybody. Even Ben G, you welcome in here too. Oh, turncoat you over there. Welcome into the show, everybody. Lee, you trying to do an over under on me? This isn't Ty show. I show up when I feel like it, but I went that late. Oh man, I got some issues here. There we go. All right, welcome into the show, everybody. Chicken steak, Cat, Lee, and Ben G. Chime in when you get here. Lucas James, what's up, man? How's everybody going this morning? I need your nominations for the all turncoat team. The all turncoat team, which basically means, well, a sports figure, coach, player, college or pro, who has willingly joined an enemy program / franchise, not a trade, anything like that. It's got to be, Lincoln Riley-esque, something like that. Or in this case, Jim Schlossnagle, who may be the biggest sports turncoat in the history of them. Tell me what you guys think about that, though. It's a good question. Is it Schloss? Is it Lincoln? Is it? Let me think. Hold on a second. I got one for y'all. How about this guy? You see the guy on the left there? He's definitely one of them, right? Definitely one of them. What do you guys think? Jimbo, Shaq, LeBron. Jimbo is a turncoat? LeBron. I hadn't really thought that much about LeBron, but I don't consider him the same kind of turncoat that I would consider KD in the NBA world. But I'm with you here. What you were talking about. Why Jimbo? For him leaving FSU for Aggie? They don't. It is what it is. No, I couldn't, because you know why? Why would you downgrade? Why would you do such a thing? Collins McDaniel, what's up? Martin Diablo, thanks for coming in. I didn't catch this a second ago. I'm gonna say good luck with that. But then again, they definitely have a checkbook that they could write a big old check to him. And shit, in this day and age, yeah, I wouldn't put anything past anybody. Kind of is what it is. I would have said Lincoln Riley originally, but he did us way too big a favor by leaving. He's definitely a turncoat, though. There's no two ways around it. Collins, what's up, dude? Yeah, Jimbo got more money out of FSU donors and still left. LeBron. Yeah. Well, the LeBron thing, Benji, I'm actually with you on this one, on the LeBron thing. I had to think about it for a second. But I will say that, like, when he did that made for TV, that little TV show, and had everybody in there in the gym and all that shit, taking my talents to South Beach, that was rough. That was freaking rough. What a great one. We were supposed to have Coach I on here this morning. He had some stuff he had to do, though, so he skipped out. I think it's maybe because he didn't want to talk about Trevor Etienne maybe being on this list right now, because how he just left Florida, starting running back at Florida this past season, and now he's going to be the starting running back at Georgia. He knew I was going to bring that shit up, but guess what? This will stay. The beauty of YouTube is that it never goes away. So yeah, Trevor Etienne there, Coach I. What's up there, Margins? Yes, the decision. That may be the best one yet. Yeah, Etienne, yeah. The decision, that may be one of the colder ones. But I will still say, NBA wise, when you are Kevin Durant, and you've got this team, you've been to the finals before, you got a 3-1 damn lead in the series in the West Finals, blow that shit to the freaking Warriors, and then join their ass the next year when they're already champs. Fuck that guy. I will always say fuck that guy. Yeah. And yeah, I don't care. Yeah, fuck it. They definitely think that way. Yeah. And Kelly Maxwell too. I mean, I guess you would have to say Kelly Maxwell also. But here's the deal. And I wouldn't say it about Schloss as much because he just took them to the final and they should have won. Or I don't know that they should have won, but they could have won. They were definitely better than Texas this year, right? But with Kelly and also, we're talking Trace Ford, Kelly Maxwell, they want to go win. You're not going to win at Okie flipping light. Yeah, Lincoln definitely, slimy mother. Yeah, that guy. That's a fact. Oh, dude, here's the deal. To me, the Schlossnagle thing, what makes it so freaking terrible. Yeah, dude, I gotta tell you, you're trying to dunk on me with baseball. I don't give a fuck. Just don't give a fuck. I gotta tell you, I know this. Oklahoma's been in a final in the College World Series since the last time we saw Texas. And I will say, Texas is the best baseball program probably in the country, either them or LSU, But I get it. See, there you go. We knew that, okay, and that's the other part. We should have known he was a snake because, he played at UT. I had a hard time liking the cat when he was with the Thunder. I liked the matchup with him and Russ. Yeah, but that was a chicken shit move. Hey, I didn't say I was mad at him. Same way I'm not mad at Kelly Maxwell for leaving. I mean, of course I'm not mad at Kelly Maxwell or Trace Ford, but how can you blame them for leaving the dumpster fire that is Okie Light for Oklahoma? I get it. Yeah, Benji, the Rockets. That's so cute. Ah, yes, Lee. I get it. Oakland to Tampa, high on the list. Yeah. I'm sure Tony Dungy kind of hated that move too, didn't he? Facts. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not mad at any of them. I just want to know who's on your list of biggest turncoats. So give me more. We'll figure it out as we're kind of going through it. I'll tell you another thing. This is actually something that I liked that I saw earlier. Hold on. Oops. It kind of takes me into, and I mean, yeah, because it's clear that, whenever all is said and done, to me, I mean, the Lincoln Riley move was definitely the biggest turncoat move. I will say, though, as much of a turncoat move as that was, it was a blessing for Oklahoma. I think that's very clear. As, very clear, right? Let's see, share screen. Yeah. So on this list, the Lincoln Riley move is certainly part of it, is one of them. But then our buddy, our boy Seth Oliveris, nobody has been more right about anything the way OU fans were right about Lincoln Riley. Yeah, I guess you would. I guess you might. Let's kind of transition. Keep thinking in those veins if you keep coming up with those, but let's talk a little bit about this. And thank you, Seth, for tweeting that out there. Wanted to make sure I kind of brought that up. But I mean, when you start talking sports turncoats, I mean, you got to, I mean, to me, it's right now for Oklahoma fans, it would definitely be Lincoln Riley and the way he left. Now, again, I would say that it's definitely it was a blessing. It was something that needed to happen. I think that what Seth was talking about in his tweet it couldn't be more correct. Couldn't be more correct because the truth be told, Oklahoma is in such a better position right now than they ever would have been had Lincoln hung around. It was still a shady ass move. Still a shady ass move. You know, that's just all there is to it. But where the hell? The beauty of that whole deal, though, is it's vindication for Oklahoma. Because what we've seen over this past year, as we've talked about this before, and I'm sure we're going to get some triggered USC fans in here. But when you go and look, yeah, what you're talking, I don't know about this Mac stuff. Benji, come on, man, that's a little much. They kind of kicked him out the door. I understand that he was upset. But I would tell you this, the way that Lincoln tried to burn it all down on his way out the door. So you've got the story about Caleb Williams driving back in a Suburban with Lincoln from the Bedlam game, which incidentally, by the way, somebody brought this up on Twitter last night as well of, do you think that Lincoln threw the Bedlam game the night before he left? I would tell you, hell yes, he did. Go back and look at that last drive. And Coach Ricks, I mean, you know this. It's not that he ran the same play a bunch of times, because he did. But it's also that he didn't even try to disguise the shit. Didn't run a different little motion here or whatever. And every damn one of them, Caleb Williams was running for his life. Now, he happened to make a couple of Superman Caleb plays. And I mean, it almost backfired anyways. And I don't think that Caleb was in on it. I think that Lincoln, however, was trying to throw that game and tried to throw the Texas game as well. If you remember the year before in the Red River game, he took Spencer out of the game immediately when it started getting bad, right? And when he made a couple mistakes, he pulled him out quick, got him back together, put him back in the game. Spencer was fine after that. This one, he waited until it was 28-7 before he put Caleb in, figuring, there's no way he comes all the way back from that. Oops. Backfired on him there. I think he tried to throw the Kansas game. Caleb pulls the ball back out of the belly of Eric Gray, gets a miraculous first down. They go on and win. Yeah, he threw the game. He tried to, Benji. He tried to. I'm telling you. Wow. Tebow, Kevin Durant, Dennis Rodman. So Dennis Rodman to the Bulls, that's a turncoat move to you. But that was kind of a trade. That was a trade, though, right? Phil Jackson to the Lakers. What's starting five, though? What's starting five? Yeah, hey, man, I'm a Niner fan. I agree with that move. I hate that because that really it changed the balance of power back to Dallas, didn't it? Yeah, as a Texas fan, I can see that. I can see why you would say that. Yeah. Good morning, mother. Hello. Yep. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Mom. Facts. Yeah, so I don't know if you saw that, Mom, but the coach in the middle here, the Texas A&M guy, he's now up and literally within 24 hours of losing the College World Series championship game at A&M. After going up 1-0, they lost the next two. And he throws this shit fit in the when a reporter asked him about rumors that he might be going to Texas. He throws this shit fit and says how selfish this guy is and all that. I mean, just kind of does a real. This is what makes the Schloss thing really bad. The way that he talked to that guy. I think I can find that on Twitter. That'd be the only way I can play it and not get like screwed with. Yeah, Saquon Barkley. I like it. T.O. to doubt. But he left the Niners to go to Baltimore first. Or then he was Philly, not Baltimore, Philly. And then he ended up with the Cowboys. So yeah, T.O. still. Yeah. Well, whatever, bro. I don't know, but here's the thing. So we're going back to what Seth was talking about. Never been more right about anything the way that Oklahoma fans were right about Lincoln Riley. Again, I do believe that he was trying to throw that game. First and foremost, he was definitely trying to throw that game. He got away with it, and I don't think that Caleb. I'm not throwing anything on Caleb Williams. He played his ass off that day and every other day that he played in an Oklahoma uniform. So I don't want to hear any of that. But I'll tell you this: when it comes to what he has been, and even since he got there, now look. If you go back to that first year, and everybody talks about how he took that 4-8 team of Clay Helton's team, which they weren't that bad until they fired Clay Helton. Then it came completely apart, right? So they go 4-8. He ends up going out there, going 11-1. Of course, losing to Utah in the first game. And yeah, this is when I really started liking Cam Rising, by the way. What a game. In Utah for that one, but then the way he played in the championship game in Vegas as well, you could tell though that if you remember, they didn't have to play Oregon or Washington that season. So he goes 11-1 with their kind of cupcakey schedule there in the pack, not having to play the two best teams in there. And if you remember, Utah actually had lost to UCLA and Oregon, but Oregon gagged that up at the end of the year, losing to Oregon State and then Washington. Because again, Dan Lanning, he's kind of fraudulent as well. 0-3 against Kalen DeBoer. So yeah, it kind of is what it is. But I would tell you that, again, I still would tell you that. So he got lucky there. And we know he did because not only did he lose the Pac-12 championship, but then he turns around and loses to freaking Tulane with a 21-point fourth quarter lead, by the way, in the Cotton Bowl. Coach was there for that one. And, oh, dude, I really wish that I had video of that because from what I understand, I know they weren't doing well. They fired him, Benji. I get it. But all I'm telling you is yeah, it's one thing to go 11-1. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it wasn't a good season for USC whenever he took over there. But he did have the Heisman Trophy winner who would have been at Oklahoma. And that's the other thing. All this shit going around, the people that want to talk bad about OU promoting or not promoting, but extending Brent Venables for 2 more years, making it a full 6 years that he still has. You could say that and you say, well, yeah, but he got left a good program. No, he didn't. They lost so many of those players off of that team, including 2 5-stars, not just Caleb Williams, but also Spencer, which fine. But it left that quarterback room vulnerable because of the fact, I mean, we saw what happened when he got hurt against TCU, they blew the doors off of OU, and then he was still hurt the next week in the Red River game, and they were playing a freaking tight end because it was that bad in the quarterback room. It is what it is. The bottom line is that this just goes to show you, yeah, 21-point leads are not good for him. Yeah. I also got Jordan Addison. Correct. And that was hey, man, I wish JJ had time to be on. He's busy right now with everything he's doing with his job. he said this is the toughest month for him, or he'd be in here. But he would tell you there's a story there. It's a cool story, funny story, but not funny for Pitt. They were definitely, not only did they tamper to get Jordan, but they didn't even, they paid him 10% of what they promised him for NIL. So, yeah. 100 million. Well spent. Yeah. Hey, listen, I don't mind. I don't blame Okie Light for being upset. Now, here's what I would tell you. The people that will go on there and rip Kelly, and this includes Cody, by the way, they said some ugly things about Kelly. Ugly things. And she was also already, she'd played freaking 4 years for him already. She wanted to win. I don't blame her. And same with Trace, by the way. It is what it is. Trace has a chance to make it to the NFL when he was never going to make it from Okie Light. If he has a good year this year, he's going to get an opportunity. He's got the right size. He's an athlete, and he's been in better shape since he got to Oklahoma. Again, I don't blame anybody for feeling how they feel about transfers or whatever when it comes to that stuff. When it comes to something like that. I still think that LeBron one was really good. With the decision, brutal, right? But here's the thing. Everything that we said last year, and I don't know how many of you guys were watching this show last year, but anybody who was will tell you I got on there with Tim Prangley on the Voice of College Football, and we went back and forth with each other. He was saying the stupidest shit about how, because I said, watch, they're going to go 8-4. They even did me one better and went 7-5. Coach I and Stat Guy thought I was crazy when I said that on their show. That they were going to go 8-4. They all, and Shoddy too, they're all like, you're out of your freaking mind. And I was like, watch and see. They got to play both of these guys. Notre Dame's going to be better. They're going to lose. They could lose again to they could lose to UCLA, which they did. They were a missed 2-point conversion try away from going 6-0 to 0-6 last season to finish the year. And that, they're boasting about the Louisville game. Bowl games are what they are. Yeah, and I'm not. I think there's a bit of a. Well, Coach Riggs, here's the one thing I would say is in this day and age when there's money involved in all that stuff, I can understand it. They're professionals. I've always, if I would, and I tend to agree with you to some extent on this, but it's not even just a kid thing. I don't understand why NFL cities get pissed off about guys wanting more money, holding out for more money, when the NFL is the richest sports league in the world by a lot. It's not even kind of close. And those owners can way afford it. The way that they were talking about Chris Jones in Kansas City, and believe me, without Chris Jones, they don't win these Super Bowls that they've won. As much as Patrick Mahomes is that guy, so is Chris Jones on that D-line. You need him. If you don't have him, you don't win that shit. You don't. But I agree with you. But to me, I've never understood taking up for the owners of those franchises instead of the players who, look, man, especially football players, and you start thinking about it, these guys are putting their bodies at risk. The only money that's guaranteed to them is whatever the signing bonus is. They can kill that contract anytime they want in the NFL. They've made it that way. They'll never get rid of that. There's a few times that I can understand where, some player signs a max deal and then mails it in and doesn't. And, like in baseball, if they sign you to a $500 million deal like they did Bryce Harper there in Philly, probably hamstring the whole freaking, although I shouldn't say that about Bryce. I not like Bryce, but you feel like you could hamstring the entire deal or whatever like that for that franchise and not make them win. They've been in the World Series, so you can't really say that there. But if they stop playing tomorrow, you still got to pay them. They're fully guaranteed on their deals. It's not like that in the NFL. So I've never understood how you get like that. Can't get mad at coaches either. Yeah, say, see, absolutely. At least see, you're on your game here. Can't get mad at coaches either. It's all business. As Slosh did bad, they would be quick to kick him out too. Oh, well, listen. I don't know how quick they would have been. I don't know that they would have been as quick at Texas A&M to boot his ass as they will be at Texas. And here's the question I got. What if he turns into Lincoln Riley 2.0 and eats shit in Austin? Because it could happen. Getting to that championship round, you go to another World Series or two, you're there for 20 years at Texas A&M. If you don't win the Natty in the next 4 or 5 years, you won't be at UT. No. He didn't win the Natty, bro. That's all I got to say. He didn't win the Natty. So kind of is what it is. Again, to go back to Lincoln Riley, I think that what Seth was talking about, we've been proven that it's right, because not only that, all of the stuff that he was saying about you can't recruit elite talent to Norman, that has been, there's been a lot of vindication on that as well, which I love. The fact that they've got that, somebody on Twitter says, nope, Tebow is the one and only winner. To me, I always call him Lincoln still, but so many Oklahoma fans will never say the word Lincoln ever again. It's always that bitch out west. I love it. I freaking love it. Too good. Good morning, Eric Reheard. The brand?
The brand has finally returned. F your brand.
Titles will be raining from the skies. Whatever, bro. Screw that. Yeah. And I can understand that on Peyton, I guess. But listen, they sacrificed Eli to freaking Ole Miss. You know what I mean? At the time, it was the right move for Peyton. They suck at Ole Miss most of the time. What's been going on these last couple of years is a total, really the last 10 years or whatever, is so not Ole Miss. It's so not Ole Miss. Yeah, they are going to steal that soundbite. I tell you, I'm going to probably have to quit using it at some point. Every time I use it. No, I don't know that it really pisses Onikuno off. It may, because I don't think it pisses him off. I think it makes him think about how catching them gave him a freaking copyright violation for using his stupid little, which he shouldn't have accepted that. He shouldn't have accepted that, because that was fair use. You're allowed to use somebody's video if it's for, whether you're prognosticating on it or it in this case giving an opinion, and definitely for what he was doing, which was criticizing what Ketch was saying, because that was bullshit. I haven't heard a single Texas fan talk about OU. They don't even care. Stupid. Can't stare at him. I don't know what he can collect for that soundbite. He said something about $1 the other day. I've got it added up. I think I owe him $10 if it's $1. So I'll pay him the $1. Oh, it's worth it to me. It's worth it to me. I love me some Onikuno, man. I don't want to do him wrong. So Onikuno's the man. Matter of fact, you know what? Maybe I can get him to come on real quick. I think he would be a good person to talk about this a little bit. Let's see. Real quick, let me just send in this. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Maybe we'll get Onikuno to come on here for just a minute too. All right. Hey, if you haven't already hit that like button, get on there and hit the freaking like button. Make sure you wipe your feet when you come in here. Just only the right thing to do. Want to take a moment to shout out our partners here at Hall of Fame College Football Mint Mobile. You can get 3 months of unlimited talk, text, and data on the nation's largest 5G network for just $45. Unlimited talk, text, and data. Look, guys, you don't have to stick with big wireless to get all the perks of big wireless. I know they make you think that you do. You can actually try out the service for that $45 on the same phone that you already have with their digital eSIM card. No salespeople required. You can go right to trymintmobile.com/HOF. That's trymintmobile.com/HOF. Get that deal. Try it out for 3 months at the same time that you keep your other phone service so you can test it against it. I know a lot of people will get a little worried about that because, say, you've got Verizon and you still think that Verizon has the best coverage. It doesn't. So check it out. You'll thank me later. It does help the program, but you can save a lot of money yourself. Our official show merchandise. You can either jump down below where you see the screen here on YouTube. They've got some of it on there, or just go to hofmedia.us/pod-merch. Check out our new designs that we have in there. I'm still working on a couple of other ones for that as well. But yeah, jump in there, check that out. hofmedia.us/pod-merch. The free way to help the show is just to make sure you hit that like button. Share it with your circle of folks that love college football like you do. Make sure we keep growing. Guys, we hit 3,500 subs yesterday. Would really like to get to 4,000 before the season starts. August 31st being week 1. The week before that actually would be week 0, but Oklahoma plays and most of the bigger teams play week 1, August 31st, or actually Oklahoma plays August 30th. It'd be great to get to 4,000 subs. That's only 500 more. We can do it. Share it with your friends. Help us out that way. The biggest way to help us out, again, just to make sure that you go ahead and support anytime that you interact with this, like you guys coming in here, and something I was saying last night when the coach was on, is that just the interaction back and forth in here, or after the video, the live stream is over with. It's so important to us content creators. So jump in there, make sure you do that. I'd appreciate it. What else was I looking for? Oh yeah, let's see. Bud. Let's see. Blue chip rate. Who saw the blue chip rate? Did you see the blue chip rate thing that they put up from Bud Elliott's? Blue chip ratio for 2024 via Bud Elliott on 247 Sports. They actually had, I'll go ahead and share this. Oklahoma, of course, they're coming in at number 7 on this list. And this is honestly, guys, this is a prime example of just how really good a job that Brent Venables has done. Lincoln's last year, they had a 66% blue chip ratio. According to this same metric, they've jumped up 7% in 2 years. And that, I mean, listen, that's with you having the best part of your roster extracted. And not only have they erased, everything that they lost, but they've added to it 7%, coming in at seventh place, just behind Aggie and Oregon, ahead of Texas. There, Benji. What do you think about that? But if you look at, obviously, Ohio State 90%, Alabama at 88, Georgia with 80. Now, the one thing I would say about this is this doesn't include transfers or any of that kind of stuff. It's just what they've done as far as who's on the roster. You got to be on the roster still. But as far as who's on the roster and what they were. So the blue chip players are obviously 4 and 5 stars. So that's, let's see. And then you've got the other half, Notre Dame coming in at 67%. They're ahead of Clemson now. Remember what we were talking about with Clemson is the problem with them is not playing this portal game. It's definitely dropping them down. If you think about their last national championship when they won it, it was the 2020 year or 2019 that they won it or whatever. But you think about that, they definitely were right up there at the top with Ohio State and Bama. They were. They've dropped quite a bit. I'd like to go back and look at that, but SC still coming in. I think there's only, what did they say? Maybe, well, all of these teams are the only ones that are over 50%. So out of 130 something FBS teams, only 16 programs that are over 50% blue chip players on their roster. So this, you have to have a higher blue chip ratio than 50%, I guess, to win the national championship. Theoretically, the only ones that have are on this list. So, I would tell you the reason that I was, if you guys were watching that deal when we were on with Shoddy and Coach I on Saturday Night Snap Count, and I was busting Shoddy's chops about freaking Miami and 7 wins in that trash conference. Here's why. Here's why. Yes, necesita un como. Hey, check it out. Thank you, bro. Hey, I don't know if you heard this yesterday.
You know what, guys? In a nice way, fuck y'all. We don't give a shit.
That's all for you there, Ryman Lemon. Appreciate you coming in. Good to see you, brother. If you notice, transfer portal is making the ratio more even with the top schools. Yeah, but the ratio doesn't count transfers though, apparently. Or at least that's what Teddy and Gabe said. You're welcome, mucho gusto. I know a little Spanish, bro. I live down there. Pretty close. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. No, you're not wrong. And okay, so then this is a perfect example of that, of what happened with Michigan this past season. They haven't been, in fact, they're barely on this list, right? They're barely on this list because they haven't had any of those blow you away recruiting classes, even really since Jim Harbaugh got there. They had some guys, but they've never put together these top 5 classes. I don't think they've had any top 5 classes. They may have only had a couple of top 10s even. They mostly hover around somewhere in that 15 to 20 range. Looky here. You're going to love this. The show, Mr. Oni Kuno.
It was like I get like 8 DMs in a row. It's like, you got to come on right now. I do? I was like, sure,
I
okay.
So you have to come on right now.
You said, come on right now. I'm just
welcome to the show, sir.
I'm active this morning for once. It's nice. I don't feel like crap today. That's always a positive.
That is a positive. Welcome in.
Mm-hmm.
So, what we've been talking about here, turncoats, the sport's biggest Benedict Arnold team of all time.
Oh man, we're doing this today. Okay. Or I don't know where to begin on that one.
So these are three really good ones. If you know, just keeping up with the regular time.
Are people still mad at Wayne Gretzky for going to the Kings? I know that's like a long time ago for something old.
Some of the ones that the guys that are in the live stream had brought up with, and I mean, obviously Kevin Durant is a sore spot for us Oklahoma folks.
I can't say that for me because I grew up. I'm a day one Orlando Magic fan, so I've had my team forever. So I got to see that from the outside. I'm like, oh, that's not going to go well.
You probably hate Shaq though, huh?
I've made peace with Shaq. I understood why he did what he did. So I didn't like it at the time. Obviously, I was a young child. I said, why? I was the little kid with like the backwards hat. Why, Shaq? Why? But yeah, that I can watch that 30 for 30 on Orlando. They did. I can watch the first half of it, then I have to turn it off. I can't watch it. I can't watch that second half because it's too painful. I blame Alonzo Mourning for breaking the bank on that triple-digit $1 million contract he got, which because Shaq was going to take that $92 million deal, and then it's like, and Shaq properly said, well, the price just went up. And it's like, I don't blame the man. I'm an adult. I understand these things a little bit more now. As a kid, I'm like, no, why?
Oh, yeah, no, you didn't. I mean, well, and we were just talking about that too. Because, obviously people have brought up Kelly Maxwell, Trace Ford. I get it. And you don't look, I have a hard time getting upset with people that get upset. Now, what they've said to Kelly Maxwell on Twitter and shit like that is uncalled for. But
sure, I would be more mad if I was a Poke fan, which is hard for me to imagine. But if I would honestly be more mad at Kelly Maxwell than I would at Trace Ford, because I'm not trying to hate on Trace Ford, but Trace Ford is furthest from one of the more important players you've ever had in the history of your program.
I think he could be more important this year, but if he's healthy enough, but just for that rotational piece, and he's got an opportunity. But I agree with you. He's not the guy that's the guy, right? And Kelly was kind of the missing link once Jordy left.
Well, it's amazing how Kelly Maxwell switched jerseys and learned how to win games that matter. Oh, did I say that out loud?
You did. I did, and I'm appreciative of it. And you can say that in here. We allow it. I'll allow it.
Terrible of me to say that.
I'll allow it. So, but then here's the other one that they brought up. They brought up Kevin Durant, which was a shit move, by the way. I mean, you blow the 3-1 lead in the West Finals. Golden State goes on to win it without you, and then you join the enemy. That's weak sauce.
It's
turncoat is all get out.
Kevin Durant's just a weird person in general. There's a lot of weird guys in the NBA.
Total Longhorn thing to do, though, right?
I always kind of laughed at. I guess you could say the same thing with Kyler with OU, but at least he won a Heisman. Did Kevin Durant win Player of the Year when he was at Texas? I can't remember. Did he win the Naismith?
Yeah, no, he was
okay. So he at least won the Naismith. Okay, but I remember at the time thinking he was like, it was the first time I kind of noticed like how college basketball was changing to a lot of one and dones back then.
They were the poster kids for one and dones. They were one of the first
one and dones because that was my first reaction. Like, you're really celebrating this guy? You're retiring his jersey after 1 year? That's dumb. And it's like now it's like the norm. So
yeah, but they won. Didn't they win the conference championship? I don't remember if they won the conference, but I know he
the only thing I remember is it
got them through the early parts of that tournament, though.
The only thing I remember, if you make a deep tournament run, that's all I tend to care about with college basketball nowadays. So it's like,
well, I know he hit the game winner against New Mexico State.
Well, I mean, there you go, right there.
But he definitely, look, man, he's definitely the best freaking player to go through Texas in a long time.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
But yeah,
Mo Bamba was not.
He got Kevin Durant. I can't stand that guy.
Well, I mean, he's like, I'm part of. You see, like I'm considered an older millennial, so I grew up with analog technology. So I didn't have a phone in high school like some of the younger millennials and the Zoomers had. So Durant's part of that.
I'm a Gen Xer, dude, so I get this.
So like Durant's part of that generation that's like constantly on the internet. don't get me wrong. I wanted to be on the internet as a kid with dial up and everything, using those free AOL minutes you got in the mail. Those were great days when you got those free AOL minutes. That's how old I am. But the dude's got burner accounts on Twitter and forgets to switch. It's like, listen, I don't have enough time in my life to make burner accounts unless I'm pulling pulling a prank on somebody.
See, I wouldn't be surprised if because he's such a Kevin Durant is that dude that hears everything. He's got freaking rabbit ears. He hears everything everybody says about him and wants to respond to it all. He's such a baby.
I barely read my YouTube comments because I stopped doing it for my mental health. Trust me, I
gotta stay off of fucking Twitter.
I check the comments like sometimes early just to make sure the video's working. No one says, "Hey, I can't hear this," stuff like that. But other than that, it's like I don't read the comments that much. So it's like I've got people indignant. You know who I am? It's like, bro, I don't know who you are. I've commented on your videos for years. Like a lot of people commented on my videos for years. It's like
the whole thing with the catch thing. You may not have read the shit that I sent to you because I was like, "Don't you take that? That's fair use. Fuck them."
That's a whole different.
Yeah,
like that was Anwar Richardson, who's just a turd who I've lost respect for the rest of his life. Like it's one thing to, all you like. The thing with YouTube is you don't have to you don't have to copyright strike someone. You can politely ask, "Hey, could you take down content?" Or you could take ad revenue from the video. I'd still be a little ticked off about that, but at least the video would be up. But it's like no, it's a bitch move to do that. And like to me, Anwar Richardson is forever a bitch. And I just have,
But again, I think you actually used to like Anwar. That with fair use, you could have fought that with fair use because you met all three criteria for fair use.
The problem is, I did that. I tried to do that, and YouTube just and if I try to do it again, it just causes. It's just better to wait. I'm over halfway done anyway. So by the time we get to August, it's not going to be anything. The problem at the end of the day is that I wanted to do a lot of special stuff for July, and I just can't take the chance. Extended warranty, it's great. I wanted to make a little bit of a hype video for July 1st, but I can't take the chance because all it takes is X&O Digital Sports to get a hair up their ass, because I've dealt with that shit before.
Well, okay.
Because if I use the wrong video clip that doesn't belong, because everyone who makes highlight videos, it doesn't belong to you.
But if what you're trying to do, though, if what you really care about on that is just doing the hype video itself, you could always just get a non
but it's
monetized channel. You have a non-monetized channel, I'm sure, to put something on.
At the same time, though, it's like I still kind of make them once in a while, but I had plus I just been so busy with other things like off YouTube on YouTube, and I got a event I'm working this weekend that's non-football related, and it's like the one thing that I can do to make a little extra cash on the off season.
No, I get it. So we're all trying to do what we can.
Yeah,
So I think I've used it up to 20 times since you said you wanted $1 for every time I go through here.
The brand has finally returned. F your brand.
I get embarrassed when I hear that.
21.
It's
I owe you $21. You got to leave your cash out. I'll toss it your way.
Yeah, sure.
Because I want to not use it.
It's like I hear that. It's like, God, I really sound like that. It's like I go off these.
Awesome. Hey,
I go on these tangents.
I use it because we love it. Why are you embarrassed? It's great. It's not like one of the greatest.
It's like it's different when you hear your own voice, man. It's like I can't go back and listen to myself speak or hear my own videos. Like, oh God, I sound like so much. Like I go back to my really old videos that I took down that you'll never see again. It's like, why don't you put those up? Like, dude, no, I'm not showing you shit from my mid-20s. That is not happening, because I'll get canceled immediately for some of those things. Sure. Things were different in the mid-2000s a little bit, or late 2000s. So it's like, you're a little more like, I'm not saying that shit anymore. But yeah, I'm the creator. That's me. That's me saying, saying F your brand.
The myth. Oni Kuno.
I don't.
Hey, we got coming in too.
I was about to go off this morning, but I have a doctor's appointment this afternoon, so I decided not to do that. But we've had some.
What up? What up? What up? What's going on, everybody?
This is Sean Onikuno from the Onikuno Show. And
The Onikuno Show.
The Onikuno Show.
I don't have a show. I just do. I just
Oklahoma creator.
I just do regular like posts and give my 2 cents, which is pretty much what they're worth.
He's the creator of this.
The brand has finally returned. Your brand.
I sub to him. What's going on, my man?
Well, I'm told Texas is supposed to take over the SEC this year, so I don't know if Georgia's been informed of that. I just want to carve out a nice 9-10 win season, make the playoff. That's all I want to do. So,
what's going on, stink ass Lee?
Lee stink ass cat.
What's going on, my man? Chicken, Benji, Ryman, all of y'all, man.
All right, Coach I.
What's up?
Who you got on your all turncoat team? Or give me some nominees. We've had some good ones. LeBron, KD. Obviously, I kind of threw KD in there myself, but LeBron was good. I forgot about the decision. That's a pretty good one.
That's not a turncoat. He didn't go to the enemy.
Well,
and he said he was thinking of, like, he actually said, "I'm thinking about my decision," and then he just made
a shitty thing to do, though, to do that on television to your town when you are from the area of Cleveland. You don't think that was a turncoat move?
But he didn't. But the thing is, he did it, and he helped the Boys and Girls Club with $1 million after the donation because of the show. So no, I don't. I just think it was a different way to do it, and people weren't used to that. So that's just how I feel. You know,
rubbing it into a lot of people though, and I was just saying a lot of people were pissed about it. So there's
right.
I mean, you know,
well, if we just talking about people leaving and fans being pissed, then we could be here for a whole year. Dog.
I've got a good one.
I mean,
go back 30 years ago. Wade Boggs leaving Boston for New York,
or the Yankees,
and then when they won the World Series, him riding that horse on the field.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think turncoat means like where the original term, you left for the enemy. Like
for the enemy. Yeah.
If you're not leaving for the enemy,
so like Trevor Etienne.
Yeah, right. But that don't bother me. I mean,
I get it. We got one too. Kelly Maxwell. She just came from Ocean Light.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, like Jalen Kimber. I mean, I don't care as a fan, but the Dog Nation would say Jalen Kimber and we had a 5-star edge. They went to Florida. I mean, like it's like you can go anywhere.
You can definitely
go to the rival. It's like, you know, like we got some players that play for Georgia Tech currently, but we all, as Adult Nation, we actually love them because, you know, it's like they put on. But the definition of a turncoat, I mean, hell, our offensive analyst is their OC now.
Yeah,
so. I miss the old Georgia Tech when they still ran the triple option and were able to give teams fits. See, that was the thing. Like you would,
did they?
That was a team before
in the ACC they did.
Yeah, but before, but when you had before Kirby, those years where you just like it was always that one game, man, and it's like you weren't quite as good in the Kirby years. You were still good. You still had like top 10, 15-ish classes that were solid, but you got to deal with that triple option. Yeah, we
didn't like dealing with it, but it was never. I mean, if you look at it, it's never. I mean, they beat us twice. It was never really a problem.
But there's always those couple games like, this drive just won't end. It'll be like a first half where it's like, oh my god, can we adjust already? And and now you can't cut block anymore, so all the academies don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So
Benji, UF is our rival. Georgia Tech is our in-state rival. UF is like Texas for y'all. Oh, Texas, you're a Texas guy.
Who's number one for me? Because I get a different answer from Georgia fans. Some say Auburn, some say Florida. So it's definitely Florida for you.
Yeah. Auburn's not in the top 2, bro. Stop. Yeah. Like we don't like
oldest rivalry in the South.
Right. We like it's the oldest, but like when you talking about hate, so like Oklahoma and Okie Light, it's like they don't like Okie Light, but they're like little brother more. So that's kind of how Georgia Tech is for us.
I get it.
Like we wouldn't piss on Florida if they was on fire. Like that's how it's like. That's like arch enemy. You don't want them to have. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I agree because you got the neutral side.
Pissed on Florida if it was on fire. I love it,
bro. Yeah. So like if that's what I see a turncoat. Like I feel like somebody in there said Benji said so Lincoln's not a turncoat. Listen,
he's a turncoat. He's a turncoat.
In my estimation, he did y'all sleazy the way he left, but that's not a turncoat. He didn't go to the enemy. Like y'all didn't have no beef with USC. Like if he had did the same, y'all didn't have no beef with USC before he left.
We still have nightmares about the early January 2005. We still have nightmares about that.
But if that's the case, then
but like as far as a rivalry with him, you don't really have a rivalry with him.
But he did y'all sleazy the way he left. Now, like he definitely did y'all sleazy. But
well, he went to the mecca of college. I mean, he went to the mecca of college football. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, he had a couple of guys committed that are probably that one of them's officially with you. Well, committed to you, and the other one's about to or going to probably. So, and we're just waiting to see if their quarterback flips to Colorado or something crazy like that.
I mean, I think he's going to flip. I just think he's going to Auburn.
Jay Boulware, you to go to Texas. Yes, that would absolutely
right. In my mind,
I was happy Jay Boulware left. That's not. You can go to Texas all you want, Jay Boulware.
But see, that's the thing.
Never return the smoker. He screwed that thing up. If Lincoln used it, you don't want it back.
So it's like, if somebody left Oklahoma to go to Oklahoma State or Texas or vice versa, then I would consider them a turncoat. Like there's a lot of schools out here you can choose. Now, granted, some of these people choosing winning over not winning, but it's still turncoat-esque. Like Trevor Etienne. Trevor Etienne. Come on, man. Like he left for a better situation, but that is still on Florida.
They hate you as much as you hate you.
Right. Hey, it is what it is. Listen, Dog Nation will tell you Jermaine Burton. Now, I didn't have a problem with Jermaine Burton because I don't feel like Alabama's a rival. They're just a very, they're at the top. We're trying to chase the same thing, so I don't feel like they're technically a rival.
All right, so Ryman Lemon and what you're saying. Look, guys, just so we're clear here, there's no hard and fast rules on this shit. You can hate whoever you want, and
I'm telling you my rules, right? Yeah, right.
This is Coach I's opinion. I got my opinion. Sean's got his. So, but in the end, you guys can hate whoever the hell you want.
Listen, man, this isn't Nom. There are rules, okay?
Right. So, like, for me, like KD, I like because they had just gotten beat by Golden State. It's like that's the team that they couldn't overcome. And then he's like, you know what? I can't beat them, so I'm gonna join them type deal. So yeah, I would say that more so than LeBron.
Absolutely, because there's definitely a rivalry at that time. They were playing against each other to get to the finals more than once it happened. So I mean, and then they had a 3-1 lead. So
right.
He literally made a decision to go there when he could have re-upped for the max.
He could have won at that time. I think he probably could have won anyway.
He would have made more money to stay in OKC though. He could have made more.
I wish he would. He would have. That's what I wanted to see.
It was the weak sauce move. And the one thing and I don't care. Stephen A doesn't bother me like he does a lot of people, but the best thing he ever said was that was the weakest move in the history of. Well, I don't know about the history of sports, but it was a weak ass move.
It gave us one of the best memes of all time, like KD with the blank white shirt. Come on now, like where you just post a logo on there. It's like he had like the what was it? The Players Tribune article or whatever, where you could just like post like
it's like for me, KD, it's like I hold KD high among like at least the greats that's playing now, the elite talent, and it's like you like to see. Like I felt like if he just stayed in OKC, and I don't know what went on with Harden and Westbrook, but I think they could have got over that mountain. And it's like want to see.
Well, they were young when they went to the finals that first time. You know what I mean? They were the only team.
Super young. They were super young.
Yeah.
If one of the role players had left for Golden State, nobody cares. But like we hold KD higher. You know what I'm saying? So we want to see him take down the mountain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's to me. I don't think anything that. Like, and then he left Golden State because he wanted to win one on his own. Well, that didn't work out. That hasn't worked out for him. He goes and joins that Phoenix team thinking he's going to turn back in. They were worse with him than they've been without him.
I think that wasn't a good situation. There's too many people. Like all of them shine when they have the ball. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there ain't enough basketballs in Phoenix, man. No doubt.
Right.
Not in the whole city.
Yeah, no, man. I like that OKC team they had together. They were all drafted, not traded. So I wanted to see them win with those guys. But chicken. If
Texas is on fire, I'm getting a brisket ready. I love it.
Right,
I don't hate the entire state of Texas. I'm fond of the Metroplex. So
I think he was talking about UT.
Right.
Oh, we're talking about the Austin area. Yeah, a handful of places.
Like if I had to pick one, like as far as Georgia's concerned, I know his dad played at Tennessee, but the lineman we had, I forget, he was real good. He had like three good seasons at Georgia, and then he ended up going to leave for Tennessee because his little brother signed at Tennessee. Dad went to Tennessee. Yeah, I was like, man, come on, man. Like
somebody brought up Peyton Manning going to Tennessee over Ole Miss is a deal.
Turncoat for the fam.
Family turncoat stuff. But I mean, they had already sacrificed Archie, and then they gave him Eli for their pound of flesh too. Ole Miss has been shitty. I don't care how good
Manning just wanted to lose to Florida on a bigger stage. That's all.
Oh, that is true. He never beat Florida. So.
That is true. Yeah. T. Martin did.
My favorite story of that 96 game where Florida just destroyed them. It's like,
oh, dude, kicked their ass.
Spurrier and Bob Stoops were like swimming in the ocean the week before on the bye week. He was like, Bobby, you think Philip Fulmer swim the ocean like we are? He's like,
playing golf.
I don't think he is. And it's just like, he couldn't believe it's a bye week.
Be the best troll in the history of college football, right there, Spurrier. Though,
listen, man, Spurrier, that dude right there didn't care. That's why we don't. That's another reason why Georgia, Florida's always been a rivalry, but Spurrier he just rubbed salt in the wound by beating us so much. Like that's was like we only beat Spurrier once, bro. That's crazy. He was there 10 years. We only beat him once.
I miss that man being a coach.
He was definitely fun. We
don't have those personalities much anymore. Like those personalities are almost gone.
Right. So much so when he went to South Carolina, like it was like, oh, we about to get in you now. Like, and it risen. And I know South Carolina fans like to think, hey, well, Georgia's our rival. No, we was rivals with Spurrier. We didn't really care about the rest of the stuff.
Those Georgia South Carolina games with Spurrier, we just wanted to beat Spurrier.
We just wanted to beat Spurrier.
That's great games, man.
That's all that was about. Once he said he was leaving, it's like, well, they're just another SEC team.
There were certain games I circled every year. When's Georgia, South Carolina? Oh, I'm watching.
Yeah.
Because South Carolina always finds a way to make it interesting. It's like, okay, we're gonna watch that one. Tennessee in big games was always fun because they're gonna let their fans down again, aren't they? Like just like the past 10 years, they'd always find a way, and it's like, and then they finally. I called up every Tennessee fan I knew a couple of years ago when they finally beat Bama, and I was like, "I'm so happy for you!"
Right.
I was more excited than they were. They were just like, they didn't know what to do with their hands.
What do I do with my hands? What do I do with my hands?
Right.
Hey, this kind of gives me an idea. But okay, so do you think CW regrets leaving? Following Lincoln to SC, I don't necessarily think that
he became the number one pick. So
Heisman Trophy, number one pick. I don't think. If you talk about a championship, I
would say this. They would have won a natty probably last year with him. If they get that, I mean,
man, they'd had a better shot for sure. They'd had.
Would they have made the playoff? Yeah, we beat Kansas, no issue.
We still should have probably made the playoff. But anyway, well, we digress. The point I was if I could see that he would regret anything, it would be he would have a better shot, and they kind of wasted him that second year, right? Really kind of wasted him the first one too.
I mean, it just all depends what his priorities were. So
but I know, but I will say this: before the River game this year, he was very supportive of Oklahoma and was talking shit on Texas and doing stuff like that. The people that hate on Caleb Williams,
I don't hate on Caleb very often.
I don't
like it. I don't. It's like he would have to do something. It's like Lincoln Riley continually does stupid shit to like. People say, why are Oklahoma fans like bringing this up? Because Riley keeps bringing up shit on the red. He does these interviews where it's like, oh, someone tried to break into my home in Oklahoma, and then like people, which was a lie, and people did investigative work and said no, that didn't happen. So it's just like it keeps coming from over there. So you can't get mad when we respond to it as like, oh, typical Oklahoma fan. Like, no, dude, we're gonna like fire back. This past week for Oklahoma has been amazing. So it doesn't help the whole. If you're a person who thinks if you're a person who's trying to play off like the media is not against Oklahoma, it's been a bad week for you because number one, you got a bunch of like knee-jerk reactions over Brent's 2-year extension where he got less than $1 million. Where he got less than $1 million extension. It was like, oh, this is like a Jimbo deal. It's like
$500,000.
Jimbo deal. What the hell are you talking about? He's like the 9th paid highest SEC coach right now. He hasn't earned this, dude. It's a 2-year extension. It's for recruits to tell them that he's going to be there.
400,000. All it is the years. Here's what it is about, and this is the point is, whether you think he earned it or didn't earn it or whatever. This was a show by the university to him that they believe and trust in him and that he's going in the right direction, right?
He beat Texas. That's what he earned.
This dude put this on there and you showed that.
Hell no, I ain't. He's already got
you slipped.
Delete the comment, put user in timeout. Punk.
I was about to say, bro, you slipping on the channel, dog. You know, your channel, you don't allow that.
You got me talking about something. I can't believe I did that too.
You posted it up there for a long time, too. I had to interrupt you. Like,
appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. But here's what I would say. That was them showing that they're committed to Brent and what he's doing. And I also think for all the shit talking that people want to do, smartest thing possible by Oklahoma to do it, because it's the day before the Champ U barbecue, your biggest recruiting thing of the summer. You've got big time guys coming in there, and if there's the negative recruiting that says Brent Venables is going to be gone in 2 years, why would you go there? Now you don't get to say that shit. They just re-upped him. He's going to be there for 6 years. Now, he may not be there 6, but you can't say he's going to be gone in 2.
No,
smart move.
And then you got like idiots like Matt Brown who got fooled because he says looks like they're about to fire people at Oklahoma all across the campus. And I'm like, what? And then apparently what he posted was like a 6-year-old post from OU-EDU with the old interim president talking about financial cuts from 5-6 years ago. It's like, dude, what are you doing? It's like, where did you dig this up? He's like, sorry, my coffee didn't kick in. It's like, I don't know what it is this week. But it's like the Brent thing just became a story for people. They must be bored. They are starving for content.
It's haters, bro. What it is. It's haters.
Yeah, the mask came off for a lot of people. It happened. Like people say that there's no.
Hey, Cody acted the fool the other day. Cody Light, he was tripping in here about it. But one thing, and I'll say this. I'm sure the South Carolina people don't like Brent Venables, but everybody Clemson doesn't. They say nothing but great things about BV. They love him. They will always love him. And that's the other thing.
He was the reason they won 2 natties. All due respect.
You damn right he is.
Because remember what Clemson was like a year before he came there?
Dabo's ass before they turned it around. And
like West Virginia put up like 70 in that Orange Bowl on them. That's why they hired Brent Venables. And Brent Venables was the reason they became a powerhouse. Like, you know, listen, they had a bunch of offensive weapons and quarterbacks, don't get me wrong, but Brent put together that defense. And he had, and the thing I will always say is like, well, he left Oklahoma. Why? Like, he had to leave Oklahoma to grow. He had to like change his mentality. He had to grow as a coach. And now, you know, people always thought, one day he'll take the K-State job, or, you know, Auburn offered him 1 year. He's like, I ain't going to Auburn. they ain't organized down in Auburn. And it's like, but when the time was right, and like, because again, I will say it time and time again, it's like, you see all this stuff. Sark is doing the press tour in the offseason this summer. You see Sark everywhere. You don't see Brent. And I'm glad you don't see Brent, because you don't see Brent sitting down with interviews, holding hands with Joel Klatt, talking about how tough his life was.
Facts. Hey, you know what? The complete difference in the two was on full display at the SEC coaches meetings. Sark's up there on the days in front of the cameras, big, and he's down in the trenches talking to reporters and stuff, little at a time, one-on-ones, all that other stuff. Sark's up there, you know, holding court and all that stuff. It's all flash versus what we're doing. The difference in these two programs is the same as it's always been. One wins the offseason every year, one wins in the freaking real world.
I can't wait for media
facts.
days.
Yeah,
media days coming in mid-July. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to SEC media days. we get to take part in that for the first time.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun stuff. It's gonna. Did you get passes for it?
No, that's in Dallas. No, I'm not going to Dallas.
Not going. Okay.
No, I thought it was going to be like in initially I thought it was going to be like in the normal places like Birmingham or Destin or something like that. I was like, no, they're doing it in Dallas this year because they want to be close by to Texas for 1 year. So I was like, I understand that, but no, but if it was in like Florida, Birmingham, I would just like, even if I didn't have passes, I probably would have driven.
We've been talking about that too. We've been talking. Me and Coach I have been talking about. I'm still working on trying to get us passes to go. But anyway, and I think maybe we do, maybe we don't. But I think even if you don't, it'd be worth going up there. Coach Roybal had a pretty good idea last time. We should just get like an Airbnb and do it from there instead of trying to.
Yeah, I can't afford that right now. Like this is a time where it's like, okay, you know, when in the off season you gotta stretch dollars a little bit here.
Big facts.
So
big facts.
I'm looking forward to SEC year one because it's like, okay, instead of having like one, maybe two big games where you have like, there's going to be like 3, 4, or 5 of those weeks. And I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot
Benji,
of
what
those.
the hell are you talking about? Finish behind Sark and what? The 2-year trajectory, you see, you're messing up here. Sark went 5-8 or 5-7 in year one. BV beat him by a game. And that was with the freaking smoldering wreck that it got left in by Lincoln. Year 2, Sark's still gagging away games that they should win, like freaking 13-point leads with 2 minutes left in the third quarter at Okie Light. They throw 2 interceptions and gag that shit away when they should have been
holding parades for people holding parades for Sark because he finally won double-digit games, and Brent did that year too. He ain't getting no damn parade.
Thank you. The trajectory.
He ain't getting no damn parade from the media.
Yeah, dude, it's not even close.
Excuse me.
I love it. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. You can say all the shit you want about Sark and all that, and you had some clown in here last night saying that Oklahoma doesn't develop the way that Texas does. Are you insane?
Bro, I got news for you. Up until a couple years ago, you didn't have an offensive lineman drafted for over a decade. I don't want to hear that.
I think Kyle Flood's a pretty good coach, but don't get it twisted.
Flood, dude, I'm sorry, Flood's overrated. He can recruit some high caliber guys, but he's you can't punch it in from the 1 yard line. I don't want to hear it.
What does this mean here?
I don't want to hear it.
Sark went to the Alamo Bowl with 8 wins, but BV's
you're comparing Alamo Bowls?
God. This is how bad it is. This is how long it's been since y'all won anything. That we're talking about.
You're comparing Alamo Bowls. Oh my God.
Bowl games that don't matter.
That is great.
Wow.
I needed a laugh.
All right, let's talk a little bit about this. I got one that we'll trigger a little bit on here with this. Where's that at? Here we go. Blue chip ratio. Let's go back to blue chip ratio.
Oh yeah, we
oops, wrong one.
Isn't our blue chip ratio like 72 or 73 or something like that?
73%, yes. But this is not,
which is like a lot higher than it was a couple of years ago under a certain somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, here's the thing about blue chip ratio too, is that it doesn't take into account, apparently it doesn't take into account
transfers,
the transfers, which is fine, I guess. But here's the deal. I mean, really, if you think about it, they dropped. They were at 66% in Lincoln's, going into Lincoln's last year. They were at 66.
They're at 59% over there. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told he was going to recruit like Seth Luttrell went to the greater Los Angeles area and got himself a high caliber quarterback in his backyard.
Correct.
And Lincoln don't have a quarterback for 26 yet.
Right.
So what does that tell you?
And here's the other thing, for all this stuff about Texas being so much better on the recruiting trail, blah, 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 blah. Looky there. They're still behind OU in blue chip ratio. I mean, it's
I'm not celebrating.
He also has an extra year. He has an extra year on Venables too of recruiting time. And
but I'm not going to sit here and celebrate a class in June because it's still. This is going to be a smaller. This is going to be in theory a smaller class than normal, just for numbers purposes. So I expect Texas at the end of the day to potentially outrank us just because of that. But at the same time, it's like, if you get the pieces you need, like. When it comes to like guys like Andrew Babaloa or Michael Fasusi or whatever, we're going to get one of those guys. It sounds like the way things are trending. Like you have Ryan Foji. If you give me Fasusi and Foji, I'd be a happy camper for tackles.
You Babaloa and Foji, I'd be a happy camper for tackles.
Like Monday on the 1st could potentially be a really good day for recruiting. We're still waiting on. We just got to wait and see. We might get a 4-star linebacker. We might get Smith Orogbo the way things are going. Losing Granville to Penn State was kind of a little bit of a blow, but if we get Smith Orogbo to balance that totally makes up for it because that dude's raw, but that dude has potential 5-star ability if he keeps jumping up the rankings because on 3's got him ranked really high. So, but he's just a really raw dude. He's like PJ was really raw like his first year. So, yeah, Ohio State's insane because they're a recruiting machine right now. Which it's amazing. I'm surprised. Like there's like a 10% gap between Ohio State and Georgia right now. It just feels like that shouldn't be right, but whatever.
I be trying to tell people, man. Everybody like, oh, Georgia only wins because dog. We don't even have. We always behind Ohio State and Alabama.
Yeah, but it feels like you should be at that 90% though. I'm not saying that to rip you. It just feels like the way Georgia plays, like it feels like they should be there.
Hey man, Stetson Bennett, walk on, Jordan Davis, 3-star.
Yeah, exactly.
DeAndre Baker a couple years ago won the Jim Thorpe Award, 3-star. Eric Stokes, first round DB, 3-star. It's like
what's funny about this list, and I think I'll give Teddy Lehman credit because he said it. Like, look at all these teams, like all the teams on our schedule. How many teams on our schedule do you see that are above us right now that are on our schedule this year? You see one, Bama, Texas below us, LSU below us, Auburn's below us. I don't see Missouri anywhere. I don't see Ole Miss anywhere.
Facts.
So,
that's kind of what we were talking about on the show on Tuesday night or the other night or Saturday when we were talking about some of this stuff too, is that when you start thinking about some of these teams that Oklahoma supposedly, they've got this tough schedule. Yeah, they've got a bunch of top 25 teams, but when's the last time that, Lane Kiffin, who people are calling Lane Whiffin these days, you got to win some of these games, the big time games before you really get to say they're that team. And plus they're playing in the portal. That's the other part of it.
Sure.
So,
but we play in the portal too. We got Dominic Williams and we got Deion Burks and guys like that. No, but I'm saying using it as your main thing and to build your program with. But I get my thing is that Ole Miss is going to have to do that because they're never going to keep up with the other guys in recruiting like that. They're just not going to do it. But how long are they going to continue playing this portal game and paying up a lot like they do, getting their boosters to do that? I don't know, because if they don't get it done this year and make a deep run in the playoffs for all the money that they spent down there, how many times you get to go back to that well? And Oklahoma, you'd be able to do it. At Georgia, you'd be able to do it. They're not going to let you come back to that well if you don't get it done. Well, they'll find another coach that they'll go into the well for or whatever. But it's
they're not firing Lane Kiffin when he's winning 10 games a year. And
no, I'm not saying. Well, no, but if he stops winning 10 games a year,
it'd be a while. It'd be a while.
You know what, Keaton? I disagree with that because now that we're that was the mindset I had when we were in the Big 12, but we're in the SEC now, so I don't want Texas to be good anymore. Like the days of we need Texas to be good now. That those
I don't think you have to worry about it for very long.
Those days are over now. I don't know how you can just root for your enemies to suck forever because someone else in the SEC is going to be good.
On them if they were on fire, so who cares? Yeah. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, those days are done. So
yeah, I agree. Coach, what are your takes on the blue chip ratio?
I think it's telling. You know what I'm saying? Outside of, and I think somebody posted the other day, they posted all the CFP era champions, and outside of Clemson 2016 and Michigan last year, everybody, all the champions were above 60%. So I mean, I think it's kind of telling. I mean, you know, those two teams were the exception, not the rule. So
yeah,
if you're not above the, if you're not on this graphic, I'm not saying to say it's nothing's impossible, but I wouldn't put it. You know, it's going to be real hard for you to even contend if you're not on this graphic right here. So
right.
And honestly, I really,
and that's why it says this is the 16 teams that can actually win the national championship.
Right. So, like, you know, and some of these teams, even though they're on here, I don't think they can win the national championship. But some of that's because of schedule and things like that. But yeah, outside of these 16 teams, I don't think anybody can win the national championship if you're not on this graphic. So it is what it is, man. You got to have the Jimmys and Joes.
No doubt.
Because even Michigan last year had, even though like they're 56% this year, but last year they were 54%, so they still would have made this graphic.
Well, they also had like a super COVID team in a sense, where they had a bunch of, so they were just loaded with guys with like super seniors.
They still are kind of like that. I mean, most of their guys that even their non-starters were in their third and fourth years already.
Right, and even 2016 Clemson,
I think they're going to be better than people think they are. I don't think they're going to the. I don't know that they go to the playoffs.
And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that as a hater. I'm saying that's why they were so good.
Right. Oh, it takes experience. That's I'm always saying that. I don't think you can just have a whole bunch of new talent and think you're gonna win. Like
they did cheat though. So like I'm not gonna let them get away with that. They did like they had dudes with Spy Kids 3D glasses on the sideline in Central Michigan games.
Right.
It was funny though. And then, but they definitely. It's like they weren't, and this dude was Connor Stallions was a freaking recon Marine. What the hell's wrong with you?
I mean,
the fact that he wasn't covered in camouflage and like put up somewhere where no one could see him.
Cowpoke Ranch. He's asking about Florida, Miami, and A&M. I mean, according to the blue chip ratio, like we look at the blue chip ratio, you go back and find a champion since 2000. Go back and find a champion that didn't have over 50%. Blue chip.
There wasn't one. There hasn't been
people, right. There hasn't been one.
People talk about our schedule.
I don't think Florida and A&M and Miami are going to win. I just don't think it. But I'm just saying they have the blue chip ratio. To
theoretically, they could. Do you expect Miami to win it? No.
No.
They got to learn how to take a knee with a lead in the fourth quarter.
I mean, come on, man. A&M is at 79% for fourth best. Do I think they're one of the four best teams? No, they're not even top four in the SEC. So like. You know, it's more than the blue chip ratio, but no champion has won.
I'll tell you this: OU's not winning the national championship this year. I'm saying so it's like I'm just saying, like we keep being told how tough our schedule is, but Texas is just, you know, they're good. They're going to walk in and dominate, from what I'm told. So they don't have to deal with the struggle.
That's not a bad pick, Benji. Miami to win the ACC. I mean, honestly, outside them and Clemson got more talent than everybody. That's just what it is.
Should
I don't have them win the SEC though. I got Clemson winning the ACC.
You can't trust them to win it. And to me, I'm sorry, you know, I've kind of gone back and forth with whoever. It could be any of these. It could be Florida State and Clemson for sure because they've done it. The rest of them really haven't. But
I like
Virginia Tech's chances. I like Virginia Tech's chances. I like NC State's chances.
Yeah, NC State. I got NC State's
chances more than I like Miami's chances with Cristobal as the head coach. Sorry, that's just how I am about it. So
Coach Rick's asked my take on the Georgia Texas game. I think that's one of so it's 3 games on our schedule. You know, I think Clemson's going to be a tough game, but I think we'll win that game. I got us covering the 13.5, but the other 3 games they're all on the road: Ole Miss, Alabama, and Texas. So I mean, and where they fall on the schedule. I think we get Texas. I don't know how the game looks right now because I don't know what their defensive backfield looks like. I know they're going to have a problem stopping our offense.
The Texas defensive backfield. You can do whatever you want to it, as far as I'm concerned.
They'll beat the shit out of Texas, man. They're going to.
I think.
The week after, because you play them the week after us, and in my mindset, like during that when you all play them on the is going to be dun 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 dun. I'm going to just be humming that. I'll be humming your fight song in my head, like "Go Georgia." beat them.
Yeah. So those
Beat
are the
'em
three
down.
games that I think, if I'm doing win totals or whatever, because they're on the road. But I think we're individually, like if you just look at Texas versus Georgia, no other game, and not taking into account the schedule and all that, they're not as good as we are. I don't think so.
Everyone's hyping up that game to be like a big top 5 matchup, and I'm hoping to ruin that the week before.
Right. I'm Benji. I'm high on Makuba. I was at Clemson. But like I don't know. Like I say, I want to see them all together, and how the chemistry is back there. It's not like they were, your secondary was shut down last year.
Yeah, it wasn't, and they had a lot.
I'm not saying it was bad, but
they had a lot of push up front from Murphy and
right. And I mean, you're talking about a different animal when you're talking about our offense. So I mean, unless we have a rash of injuries, like it'll. This onslaught of talent that's coming out of that offense is going to be stupid. So,
yeah. Does Washington feel Kalen is a turncoat for joining it? Probably.
I could see why they would think that, because you didn't do it, so you went to go join some program, a school and a program that has done it.
Someone was taking that job.
Yeah, no shit. Well,
right.
Yeah. If you hear FSU telling it, they lost by 60, but they were going to hire their coach instead.
That game is exactly why I tell people I don't care about bowl games outside of the playoff.
I don't either, but
I don't care. I was like, why don't you care about the Alamo Bowl? I don't, because look what you saw there. I was like, if it's not the playoff, it doesn't matter.
And that's, that's the fault of the way that they put all this stuff together at this point. They've made it to where they don't matter.
Well, when players started off, when like freaking oh my god, San Francisco, Stanford, I totally blanked on
who
their hot running back at San Francisco, play at Stanford, runner for the Heisman.
Oh, Christian.
Oh, you talking about
McCaffrey? When McCaffrey was like one of the first guys to opt out back in the day.
Yeah.
So once that you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's like, star players are opting out of minor bowl games.
But that's where I was saying about FSU. Don't tell me about how great your programs. They're always talking about this stuff too.
When you lose your starting quarterback, who's a linchpin of your team, that was going to affect.
But don't tell me. Yeah, but the thing is, you're still going up against Georgia in a big game, in a freaking game that
when Keon Coleman opted but Keon Coleman opted out too. Like that's like take away, like you thought losing to LSU was bad. Take away Jalen Hurts and take away CeeDee Lamb.
Hold on,
Brock Bowers and Lat McConkey played. Brock Bowers and our starting right tackle, who was the reason why people don't understand. Like in the SEC championship, when Amarius Mims goes down, Bobo changes his whole scheme, because while we like Truss, he's not Amarius Mims. You know what I'm saying? And so Amarius Mims didn't play and Brock Bowers didn't play. Everybody said our offense wasn't nothing without Brock Bowers. But then when we say Brock Bowers didn't play against Florida State, they say, oh, you had so many other people. Can't have it both ways. It's like, either he matters or he doesn't matter, But Benji, you said something about your secondary. I would say what you have to look at too is schedule. So you guys Texas will be coming off of an Oklahoma game to play Georgia the very next week. Georgia will be coming off the Mississippi State game.
Kicked out of y'all about Georgia and Oklahoma.
So that's gonna matter. So if you guys have to really get up for the Oklahoma, I know it's a game that you're used to, but you're playing a much tougher opponent the week before we play y'all than we are. We're playing Mississippi State, y'all are playing Oklahoma. So it's like, I think we have let's just say I think we can get up on Mississippi State and rest some guys, where you're gonna have a fight in your hands, whether you lose or win that game against Oklahoma. So
when they lose,
history says right.
I want to respond to something, because I saw a comment quick. I was like, what did BV? He won 10 games. And what do you have to show for it?
Because I was
hang on. You know what he has to show for it? Because I said before the season last year, because this is why I feel good about Brent Venables, because I don't go back on because going into the season, this is how I feel. Brent needs to win a trophy. One of two. He needs a golden hat or he needs a Big 12 championship. If he gets both, it's house money. he got one. And when you win that game and get that trophy, that's for recruiting. That's for getting yet another top 10 recruiting class. That's building your roster for the SEC. To say, what do you have to show for it? Like, whether he has an Alamo Bowl trophy or not does nothing for recruiting. I'm going to sit here and tell you, the Alamo Bowl does nothing for recruits. Beating Texas does something for recruits.
They got 5 blue chip freaking defensive linemen after that Alamo Bowl loss.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear this. What does BV have to show for it? He's building his roster because the thing I love about people when they talk about Brent, especially with the contract thing, well, you know, he's 16-10 in his 2 years. Like they always love to combine the first 2 years, like, and then they have to. Well, he did win 10 games last year. Oh, so he made a big leap from like tearing things down to the studs and starting over from scratch. Like they always have to eventually come back around to that. But then he's going to the SEC, and it's going to be harder. We understand it's going to be harder. That's why a lot of people say if he can go 9-3, he's knocking on the door of a playoff spot. Maybe he is, maybe he's not.
He might get it. He might get it in there.
It just depends on
their strength of
schedule. It depends on who you beat, when you beat them, who loses, when they lose, and if you can fall into that number 11, because number 12 is going to the G5 champ. But if you can grab that number 11 spot, but if you can find a way to win 10, I think that's overachieving this year. If you get 10 wins in SEC year 1, he overachieved. It probably means he beat Texas.
Wasn't Texas, what were they, 13-13 in Sark's first 2 years there?
Oh no, we don't talk about that because he finally won double digits last year and he gets to hold hands with Joe Clapp.
Yeah. Again, that's
exactly I love you, Joel.
Too.
I love you, Sark.
I love this.
I love you so much.
You guys know for sure that we are going to talk shit all the time about sorry ass Texas. This is just how it goes.
Benji, we need you over on the fan edit, man. Go sub.
Like,
no, we like Benji.
Like, I see Texas. Like, can Texas win back-to-back double-digit seasons first before we can say they're back? Because I've seen them win double-digit seasons, like isolated.
Is when you start thinking about it too. Can
you do it consistently before we say you're back?
Yeah. And it is the reason that Oklahoma fans do feel the way that they feel is because of the fact of, hey, look, you get so much of this stuff going from, you know, you keep hearing how BV isn't that guy and he hasn't done this and he hasn't done that, but he's done more in his first 2 years than you got out of Sark in his first 2 years. And they're recruiting right on schedule with what they should be. I would even tell you that I could tell you all day that I believe last year's recruiting class was underrated. You know, if you start thinking about Devon Mitchell, he was a top 5 guy for the next class, but he drops out of the top 100. To me, he's still a 5-star guy. He doesn't go in as a 5-star because he moved up went early. Right.
Well, he's also 17 years old, so he's not going to play. If he plays at all this year, I'll be shocked. So he's a beast. Don't get me wrong, but
the point is not that. The point is, if you were made a 5-star, that means they expect you to go in the first round of the draft at some point,
or at least go in the high.
And he looks like Jermaine Gresham again. I mean, it looks like that's who you're going to be. But whether he is or not, it doesn't even matter. The point is that it's easy to look at these blue chip ratios and all that kind of stuff and looking at what you did in recruiting. I would also say that when everything is all said and done, really the only time that you can really judge a class is 3 or 4 years from now when they've played and you've done what you've done, right? It's good for content. It's good for us to talk about. There's all that kind of stuff. And look, don't get me wrong. You definitely have to do well in recruiting. But we all know that there's enough football players in the country that some of these 3-stars, you just don't know who the hell they are because they don't go to camps. Trent Williams is a freaking 3-star. He's the best left tackle in NFL history, period.
He is definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Or else he will hurt someone. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, he will probably kill a man.
Yeah, he might. I still love the day that he punched Richard Sherman in the face after that game. It was so awesome.
It's a bad man, like a
scary guy. And then when he did that shit to the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game a couple years ago, and he was messing with their kicker,
I was like,
it was fucking funny.
I'm a Cowboys fan, but I can't get mad at Trent.
Yeah,
I can't do it. Can't do it.
I was watching it, and the way that they kind of handled it, you know, the kicker was like going over there trying to get the kicker from the Niners to like go settle Trent down because nobody the rest of the Cowboys were not coming to this guy's aid.
They asked the smallest guy on the team, like, "Can you go calm Trent down? You want me to do what?"
Fuck. Yeah, why would I do that?
Hey, Ant-Man, can you go go over to the Hulk and calm him down, please? He's like, anyway,
Cowboy, you've got to stop. Are you not paying attention to why? Well, okay, so obviously you didn't hear what we had to say here earlier. That was more here's what it was about. More than anything else, it was to show Venables that they're dedicated to him being there, that they are behind him no matter what. And if you think about it, you don't have to overthink this shit. You know what it really was? It was the day before the Champion Barbecue, the biggest recruiting day of the summer for Oklahoma, their biggest event. They had a bunch of guys that they needed to get. And the negative recruiting that's going around right now is that he's not going to be here in 2 years. He's not that good. You keep hearing all this shit about how good he isn't and stupid crap like what you're saying right now. That's what you're overthinking this shit.
Also,
it's whether or not.
Our athletic director is Joe Castiglione, like without question, like one of the top 2-3 ADs in the country who knows what a winning program looks like. He's seen it up close multiple times. He's not a stupid man. He's not one of these Johnny come lately like ADs who are young and who are young or whatever and don't know what the hell they're doing.
Look,
he's been around the block a few times.
It was a smart move, whether you think that, I mean, and you were telling him that you are committed to him as your coach. You like the direction he's going in. It wasn't even $400,000 over the life of a 6-year deal is about 60 grand.
That's a Jimbo deal, a Jimbo Fisher deal.
It was $60,000 a year, pretty much, or a little over it.
But it's cool. It's like,
I mean, it's a
y'all just read headlines.
It's a used freaking F-150. What the hell are we talking about? Yeah. All it was just to add the time, and it was a smart move by Oklahoma. You don't have to overthink it. But in the bottom line is that he's done more in his 2 years than it took him 2 years to get to 10 wins. It took Sark 10. And not for nothing, Mr. Gundy lover, when you win some freaking conference championships, then talk. OSU guys, you drive me nuts. They're going to pay.
They don't.
The bottom line is that, yeah, again, it was the inflation. You know what? The added money to that was the inflation on his last contract. That's all that shit was.
Well, don't worry, OSU. When you realize you can't charge people, you have to have the ability to charge season ticket prices for that OU game every other year. You know, because that's the only reason you get access to those tickets by charging season, and you don't have that game anymore.
Right. Facts. Oh yeah, watch how that works out. Not only that, their competitiveness.
Let's wait about 5 years and see if they knock on the door. Can we schedule a home and home with y'all?
Gundy's going to have to gag out of there first. It's not going to work.
Oh, I love Gundy. The reason the rivalry's ending is because Oklahoma left.
Oh, I know.
Sure it is, Mike. Sure it is, Mike. Sure it is, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because you're freaking 4-16 against them is what it really is.
Yeah.
It was 3-17 at the time. It's, you know, now they're 4-17 overall. Hey, bro, if you can win, you can't beat your rival more.
I guarantee a lot last year.
How long do you think an Oklahoma coach would last if they lost? Let's say it was a 6-year period and they went 2-4. Get the fuck out.
I guarantee you OU was prepared to make OSU a permanent non-conference game because they were in the SEC. At that point, you wouldn't need to play any other, because you got to play at least one decent non-conference opponent. So, like, we're playing Michigan next year for a home and home, and it's like, but y'all don't want to play ball? All right, okay. So,
no, that was
the home schedule for OU is going to be fun next year.
He's been to the title game as a DC 5 times at Clemson.
I don't know about 5 times at Clemson.
Yeah, they lost to LSU, and they lost twice.
There was LSU, there was Bama, and
then they won against Bama twice. That's 5.
You said 5 with Clemson though.
No. It's only 4. Yeah, they lost. They beat Bama. Yeah. So they
beat Bama twice and lost to Bama twice. Or
they only lost. They only lost to Bama the one time.
Once and then once to LSU. So 4.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like 5.
But then they played in the championship game against Florida with him there. LSU.
They made the playoff a bunch of times. They made the semis like on the reg.
Yeah, so. they made the playoffs 6 straight years, and then they won 2 of those years.
Yeah, the only game I didn't watch was I didn't watch that one
for LSU.
No one. I didn't watch the Bama semifinal one year because I was emotionally exhausted and drained from a certain game, and I didn't want.
That was the Bama semifinal was 2017.
That was the Sugar Bowl, I think.
The year after they beat them for the first time, right?
So Bama beat them, and then they beat. So 2015 Bama beat. Hold on. They had like a back-to-back at one point.
It was 2 or 3 years in a row that they played each other, right?
They played. I know they played
somewhere or the other.
Like they played in 15. Bama won that 16. Clemson won that 17. They lost against Bama in the semis.
It's because in the semis, it's like my man said. What they did was they played in 2 championships against each other. Then the 3rd year they played in the semis against each other. So it was 3 straight years, but one of those was a semi game, not a championship. So.
And then they played LSU,
right,
in the final for 19.
Right.
And then that's the I forget, were they in 20? Because it was like no, I don't think it was 20. Did they miss 20?
No,
20 was
20 was Ohio State, Bama in the final.
Right,
Bama played Cincy, I think.
Bama played Cincy in the bowl game in 21.
That's right.
The playoffs was Ohio State and Clemson.
That's right. So that's right. So,
right. Yeah. Ohio State and Clemson, and Ohio State won that one. Then Bama beat Ohio State. Yeah.
You think it's be tough to remember this? You think it's be tough to remember this now? Wait till we get to this year. You're gonna remember who's all in the playoff again? What games was played when?
I'll probably remember the title game or something like that. But Clemson
we're gonna find
and Ohio
out
State
how much difference there is between these teams.
That fifth spot, like people don't realize how important being ranked number 5 is going to be, because even though you play that extra game, if you play number 5, you're going to play the G5 champion on your home field.
Yep.
And then
I think if you're not winning the SEC championship or the Big Ten, it's the best spot because you're going to not have to play the SEC or Big Ten champion until the number 1 team. You wouldn't have to play them until the semis.
Yeah, so
I was thinking about the Alabama team that didn't make it in. That Saban was saying they should have with 2 losses. But if you think about that, if this was going on then, who the hell wants to play their asses that year?
They'll beat the G5 team like fairly easily, and then they'll play a Big 12 champ.
They would have played TCU before it ever got to. Yes, they would have played TCU before it ever got to Georgia,
and then we'd have gotten another. So it's got like people don't realize like. People are gonna. There's gonna be a blowout this year, and people go, "Oh, we don't need this playoff." Like, dude, I know the NFL playoffs have been really good the past couple of years, but it's like there are teams that get blown out in playoffs.
There's people that bitch about winning the lottery, bro, because the taxes they gotta pay.
Please let me bitch about winning the lottery. I'll be more than happy to. Can I be that guy? Oh, they only pay me $8 million this year as opposed to 9. Okay. I'll make up for it next year when whatever. Just
Ronnie Lemon, this is absolutely correct. That doesn't mean that they shouldn't have missed that damn call in the end zone. But I agree with you. There was plenty of chances for Oklahoma to beat the shit out of Okie Light before that, and they didn't do it. Jeff Lebby was the problem there. Period. That game, it was a Jeff Lebby issue. It was a Jeff Lebby issue the week before when they got beat by Kansas.
It's like, why are we throwing behind the sticks on the last play there?
Why are you not throwing the ball at all? Again, because he throws a pick 6 early in the game. You got to show that you have belief in your quarterback, man. Period. He threw the ball less than half the amount of times as Jason Bean. You have got to be shitting me.
I was like, well, we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, the NASCAR offense is gone now. So
facts. They're going to run the ball more, which is a good thing. Jet sweep Levy was I think that I feel like Seth Luttrell's going to troll the fans and run one early, just to give everybody a heart attack.
Well,
but you'll know why he did it.
Well, we got people that are trying to. We got people now who are trying to hype up our non-conference schedule now. Or not like to say it's hard. They're just like, you're going to watch out for Tulane and Houston. I was like, I've done my research on Tulane and Houston. They're not as good as last year or the year before.
Next year, moving forward, Houston will be better with Willie Fritz.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Year one, that's going to take
longer than 10 minutes.
It's going to take
for them to be good. Yeah,
you're going to watch out. It's like, okay, Pat 40. All right. I promise you that Brent will be ready,
bro. Come on, T. His father-in-law killed your year. Don't get me started on that damn thing. I don't want to talk about that Art Brow shit.
Yeah, Josie's like,
I was not in agreement with that. I was not in agreement.
Josie was like, "I'm sorry, who's on the field?" And then he put on his pin pad and went down and had a conversation.
Little punk ass. That was about Parker's little punk ass. I don't want to talk about that shit. Let's see. All right, guys, we've been going for a pretty good while here.
Yeah, I got a doctor's appointment I got to go do in a few hours, so I'm gonna go take care of a few things. And
tell everybody how to find you, Sean, before you get.
I'm on the internet somewhere. ONIKUNO. You can find me there, and I will probably do a video. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. It all depends if some news breaks. I'm waiting on a big softball transfer that we're all probably will happen next week, I'm guessing. July 1st is a big day, SEC day when we officially join, and maybe we get up to 3 commitments maybe on Monday potentially. So we'll see how that turns out. But that being said, I'm out. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for inviting me.
Good to see you, man. Appreciate you. Hey, send me your Cash App. I'll send you some money for the
brand has finally returned. F your brand.
Yeah, there we go. All right, man.
$42 I owe you right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm keeping track. Sean, thanks for coming into the show, Mr. Onikuno. Let's see. Anything? So we didn't really finish talking too much about that. What, as far as the blue chip ratio, I definitely believe that I agree that, I mean, obviously you have to be in that 50% or up range in order to win the Natty. It's not an end all be all that you are going to win the Natty because you're at 50% or higher.
Right. But it's just a prerequisite, which we all, I mean, that's just what the stats show.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I agree with you. And I the good news for Oklahoma, and the way I look at it in OU's, like they were at 66% the year before Lincoln left. They lost a bunch of that talent to the portal, to him taking them, to going to the league or anywhere else. But, you know, they lost a lot of guys. And not only did he make up that ground, but then he turned it back around as far as getting now he's up, 7% over what it was before he got here. So it's good, you know.
Oh yeah, he's doing some good things.
He's definitely, that's why he deserves the raise. That's why, and it wasn't really a raise, but that's why if you want to go talking about deserve and shit like that.
Well, I think a lot of outside of your rivals, because they have their own reasons, but everybody else, I think, have seen some issues lately with coaches getting, and I don't think they were taking into account the amount, like you say, it wasn't a large amount of raise, but they were looking at like recent coaches that have gotten raises and it didn't, you know, after like one successful year and then it didn't really pan out. So I would say from those in the media that are actually being,
Jimbo, I get it.
Well, yeah. Well, I was actually thinking more like Mel Tucker. You see what I'm saying? Like Mel Tucker, he came in and he's
stealing money, bro.
Bro, like, so, you know, he had the 1 year, the first year, I don't know, it was like 6 and 7 or something like that. And then the second year he went.
Thanks for coming in, Neil, in the super chat. Just swinging by to say, hey, y'all, in St. Louis working, then hitting the Cards versus Braves after the noon hour.
Oh, go Braves. How about that? I don't know.
Neil's from KC Mo.
I know.
K-State boy, so he's definitely not a Braves fan.
Right.
Probably the Lou.
He jumped in the RTH stream last night, so we appreciate it, Leo, man. But yeah, I think those that will be in, I guess what you would say, genuine. The first thing I thought of when people started doing that was they were comparing it kind of to Mel Tucker. You know what I'm saying? It's like Mel Tucker, you know, had I think he was like 6 and 7 his first year, and then the next year he was like
11 games. Yeah,
and he's like 11 and 2, and then it was like wait, and then you know Michigan State
gave him $100 million,
bruh. Bruh, and then like the next year he
what
went,
they just did here.
right. So.
He already wasn't making that much. He wasn't making near the top. And look, again, you don't have to overread into what the shit it was. It was to not be negative recruited. That's all there is.
Yeah.
How about no Braves ever?
Yeah, I know, right? Hey man, chop. I know. Shawty says the biggest jump. Normally the progression, the biggest jump is year 2. Shawty's definitely right about that. So I think from those that know football, maybe they was like, let's see if he can do it in year 3.
In year 2, he jumped 4 games. I mean, that's a nice
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, but I guess Shawty's saying that's typically the standard. So it's like not like he did something that other coaches hadn't in year 2, but see more of let's see if we can do it year 3 or whatever. I know every coach doesn't do it, but that is kind of, even coaches say, you know, you typically see the like year 2 of Todd Monken's offense look way better than year 1 because everybody didn't really know the playbook, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's that kind of thing like that. But hey man, OU's money, they do what they want to with their money.
Again, it's not even a money thing so much.
Right.
It's 400,000 extra on what they were going to pay him. I mean, we're talking that's at a 6-year deal, 400,000. We're talking about, I think it's 70 grand a year extra than what they were going to pay him.
What's the total? What's the total number? Because that's normally how regular fans look at it.
$400,000 extra. Okay. Period. Over the 6-year life of the deal.
And then they saw 6 years. They was like 6 years.
It was just added 4 years, or just added the 2 years that you just got done with.
Right.
So it just reset it really. So with inflation. Is what the way I looked at it, it was reset with inflation on what the salary was. In the end, all it was to show that you are committed to BV as being your head coach. You're happy with the direction he's taking the program. Simple as that. And you don't it makes it to where the guys that are going after the same players you're going after can't say he's going to be gone in 2 years, they're going to fire him. He's got a fully guaranteed 6-year deal left. You can't do it, and it was right before Champ U. It again, not that hard.
Right. Yeah.
Does it mean that if he eats shit for the next 2 years, they won't fire him? No, it doesn't.
Right. I was about to say that contract doesn't get him away from being fired if he doesn't perform. But yeah. I get what you're saying. So, but I think, like I say, I mean, rivals are gonna, whoever your rivals are, you know, or whoever's just like, they're gonna take shots regardless. But I think those outside of those people were just maybe looking at the year, how long it was, and then again, like you say, Jimbo, of course, is the first that comes to mind. But hell, they gave Jimbo that money coming in. That was a mistake.
Right, well, that was,
but more so, like I say, I think Mel
Jimmy
Tucker,
Sexton is what that was about. They freaking had him. They had them believing that they wanted him at LSU. They weren't. He wasn't. Apparently, he wasn't 1 or 2 on the list because Lincoln. I don't know. Maybe he was ahead of BK. I don't think so, though. I don't think he was going to get that job. I think a couple of years before they would have got it.
I got you.
You saw some sports cars at the Champion Barbecue. Did you? You talking about those old classic cars that they like to bring around they're boosters that they're not for the kids, though? Is that what we're talking about? Like the Chevelle and shit like that? Okay. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I love it. Stutzman, Downs, Bowman's, and one more believe are Our dogs now. Yeah, their dogs are they're dogs anyways.
So let me ask you this: in the next 2 years, what would be fireable as far as production on the field for BV? You know what I'm saying? Like first year, like we've always said, of course, you know, me and Shawty is like, hey man,
What would be the
SEC,
bottom line? I mean, well,
right.
Okay.
Like I think first year in the SEC, I'm not saying he gets a pass because I'm not saying because OU expects better.
There's
I'm not
no
saying
such
he gets
thing as a pass at Oklahoma. You know that,
right. I get that, but I mean, I think you know the floor is he has more rope to play with in the first year.
I think that's what another thing that was about. It was the contract was about showing him that look. Yeah, we got a team that you've put together a team that we think can go win. But if you go 8-4, you go 7-5, even you're unless he was to be like below 500 all of a sudden,
right?
Which I don't even understand how that could happen. But I mean, I guess it could theoretically. But it's theoretically in my mind. But anyway, we don't have to prognosticate. But I think unless you go 5-7, even if he went 5-7, they're not going to fire him, but he would be in trouble. Next year would be again. I've told you a bunch of times. I still look at 2025 as Oklahoma's best opportunity to be what they should be. You've got seasoning on Jackson Arnold. You know what I mean? You come in with a seasoned group. That being said, they're loaded at enough positions that if they win and won 10 or 11 games, it wouldn't freak me out. It wouldn't. If they won 9, it wouldn't freak me out either. I think a lot of, it just depends on what you really think. But Ole Miss, do you really believe in Ole Miss? I don't really believe in Ole Miss. I'm more worried about Tennessee. I'm damn sure more worried about Alabama than I am about Mizzou.
Right. I mean, as you should. Yeah, I mean, that just makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Now, the LSU game, why do I think we would lose the LSU game? And why could you lose the Auburn game? Well, let's go with that one. First off, you got a big week the week before, your first SEC game. It's at home. But this is going to take a lot out of you to probably beat that Tennessee game. And then you got to go on the road and deal with this environment that you've never dealt with.
Right.
What do you talk about all the time? It's not the week of the game. It's what you just dealt with the week before.
After. Yeah, I think if you just look at them individually, Tennessee's the better team. But like you say, you got to play Auburn after playing Tennessee.
Correct. So
it's
whether you win it or lose it, you probably in a good game. It's been a dogfight, and then now you got to make that trip and deal with that. Now, thankfully, it's not going to be a night game out there, so the ghosts don't come out yet.
Yeah, I was about to say you want to get them and what you want, like I say, what we've experienced with Auburn, you want them to kind of be kind of reeling, you know what I'm saying, like here and there, like you don't I mean, you want them to be you don't want them to believe in themselves. If they believe in themselves, they can do a lot of stuff. Benji, you asked about Nick Brooks, the offensive tackle. I'm assuming that's who you're talking about. I mean, he's crystal ball to Georgia. I don't know. I think it's between Georgia and Texas. I don't think USC is a top 3 apparently, but I think it's Texas and Georgia. Right now, it's crystal ball to Georgia. He's from Iowa, so there's no ties to the state or anything like that. It depends on I don't know what you guys' class looked like last year on the O-line at Texas, but our class last year is like some dogs, some dudes. So if you didn't have a good class, like if he's looking for playing time, like I would say you guys could come up and steal him. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be rough in Athens. Yeah, Nick Brooks, the offensive tackle. Yeah. He's pretty, like I say, he's crystal ball. He's crystal ball to Georgia, but I mean that doesn't.
Well, that's because right now you're looking for Susi still looks really good for Oklahoma. They already got, and the thing is that they already have a commitment, and until they get it on paper, none of it matters anyway. We know that, guys. But they've got Ryan Foji in the mix. He's probably going to become, at worst, he's already a top 100 guy, and he could become a 5-star. So, you're looking at the numbers. Look, if you're not, it's always OU, Michigan, or Georgia that wins the Joe Moore. So,
Right. And for Texas, what'll help Texas is we're kind of like right now, I would say all in on the David Sanders is between us, Clemson, and Tennessee. Yep. So they're putting out, I don't, you know, when it comes to recruit, sometimes you prioritize. So, you know,
sure.
And we've lost a guy, you know, we lost some guys here and there, and every school has, and when they get recruited, but they're not getting paid attention to as much as the other guy. So
here's the thing though too, and that's why I say what they've done very well at Texas is recruit on that offensive line. He made it a priority down there, Sark did, and I think it was
right,
probably the best thing he could have done.
I mean, dog, you don't have the trenches, you're not winning the natty. I'm sorry,
no way. But you got to have it on both sides too, man.
Right, true. So,
and I'm not. That's where I'm saying. I've told you last night. I'll say it again. That's when it comes to Texas. I don't give a shit about what you do on offense. I don't think that you're going to have it defensively. And so many things have to go well for you to repeat what you did a year ago. But Shawty, I'm going to say this. You can't tell me shit like this when you're telling me that if Mario Cristobal wins 9 games when he's got all that freaking talent and he's went 5-7-9, that BV has to go after a 10-win season. He has to go out and either win 9 or 10 this year, or he better win 11 next year or he's in trouble. Don't say shit like that. You silly. Don't say shit like that. He's not. No, he's not, Benji. No, he's not. I like Kyle Flood. He's a good coach. There's no two ways around it. You got to stop. He doesn't look. First off, he's a first-time head coach. So how long did it take? Let me ask you this. How long did it take before you knew that Kirby was elite? Because I know that they went to the playoff, but he's only beaten Nick Saban one freaking time.
I knew he was elite in the second year. I'm just keeping it up.
Around Georgia don't think about
reason why I say that is because we went to Knoxville, 4th game of the season. We went to Knoxville and beat them 41-0. Like we had never blanked Tennessee at Tennessee, and I was like, Kirby got it. But I don't think at that time
Mark Richt winning 10 games a year for all those years, and then they're still not getting over the hump every year. It took him 5 years before he really showed that he was elite to everybody. You know that.
So I would say, you mean Kirby, like with Mark Richt definitely won the 10. I don't know, like I think early in his career, like his second year, he went to the SEC championship. And that kind of did it. And then, you know, with Kirby, he went to the national championship. So I think when you make it to a national championship, that definitely puts you in that conversation. And then he solidified it the next 2 years, and actually since then, you know, he's kept the standard alive by making it to the SEC championship each year. And
I'm not bad mouthing Kirby at all. Don't take it the wrong way. What I'm saying is first time head coaches, you don't know what they are for a while, and there is a learning curve to it. And becoming, just because you worked under Saban, BV worked under he worked under Dabo and he worked under Stoops. These are both national title winning coaches. I would argue that Venables was the reason that they were winning national championships at Clemson too.
He's part of it. I mean, Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence had something to say about it.
I'm not saying that they're not, but what were they? They were going to get rid of freaking Dabo's ass pretty quick if they didn't start winning, and it took that defense getting to where it got for them to be able to do it. They had quarterbacks before that.
Well, yeah, but they didn't have Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence.
I get it.
No, listen, I think Brent Venables was an important part, but to say that he was the reason, that's totally false. Totally false. Like, dog, it's a combination. Yes, it was a combination. It was a combination. And the first championship, that was more so Deshaun than Brent Venables. I would give you 2018 more Brent Venables than Trevor Lawrence, because there wasn't a game on the schedule that Trevor Lawrence had to win for them, even though he could have. He didn't have to. Deshaun literally had to win games for them, like in the even the Natty. You know what I'm saying? Like he had to win those games. That's why, you know,
that first championship though, look, they held Alabama in that championship game. They held them to 16, 17 points.
The first one they won?
Yeah.
No, I think they beat them 40. I thought it was a higher game than that.
The second one was.
Okay.
The second one was closer.
The second one is the one they lost to Alabama the first time. Yeah, they lost to Bama the first time.
But I'm saying the one that they won when they won that national championship.
So when they beat Bama,
2016, when they won, it was.
So the first time they played Bama was 45-40, and the second time they played Bama was 35-31. They held Bama to 16 in 2019. That's what I'm saying. That's the one. That's Trevor Lawrence.
45-40.
Yep. Right. So that's what I'm saying. That's Trevor Lawrence.
The Trevor Lawrence one.
Right. So I said in the second natty, you could credit that more to BV than the first natty was Deshaun Watson. That was Deshaun Watson.
Now listen, and don't get me wrong, but they did have the number 2 scoring defense, the number 2 overall defense that year in 2016 as well, though. So that was the 2016 national championship that they won. They was still a big part of it.
Right. I agree. I said
the game.
Yeah, Brent Venables' defense is one of the reasons why Clemson went to 6, straight conference CFP appearances. I just said like the offense is the reason why they won the first natty for sure, and definitely complimented the defense. The defense was the reason. It's just like in 21, the defense was the reason. Was the main part of it, but Stetson still had to score. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think without Brent Venables, the thing is though, it's like. When you're if
you're winning the national championship game, you got to play good ball on both sides.
You got to play good, right.
So, I'm not saying that it was without him. Do they win it? Probably not. With him, I mean, look. The bottom line is it took both sides. No two. And I'm not hating on Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence. By the way, they were badasses, both of them. Right. I just like I say, I think he was integral to that success. But their defense. Outside of that first year he left, their last year, their defense, is still good, and it's going to be good this year. So I think he was very integral. That's what I would say. Well,
without him, do they win it? Probably not.
The machine, it took him building that machine. And they went. I've said it before. At Oklahoma, the first time it was year 2 that the defense was one of the top defenses, but it didn't really get there at the first part of year 2. It was at the end when they beat because it was 13-2 was the final score against Florida State.
Yeah.
And then year 3, they were number 1 in the country. So they were right there. Same thing you saw at Clemson. Are they going to get in the top 5 this year? We'll see. They got to go up against some of the best offenses in the SEC. When you look at it, or what you would think would be the best offenses in the SEC. I think that Alabama's going to have a much better offense than it did last year. I know that Heupel's going to have a really good offense. They
definitely can
score. Drinking them, they've got pretty good. I don't know what I think of Cook so much, but I love their receiving room.
I think their offense will be. I mean, Strader was a huge part of their offense, but I think they'll be able to score on speed. Their schedule is going to help them out tremendously. So. For them, I think they can win 10 games again because of the schedule, not just because they're such I don't think they're the same team they were last year.
They're going to get beat by Alabama.
Probably, yeah.
It's in Tuscaloosa, so I would almost
right.
They're not going to win that game,
right? So like I say,
if OU beats them, that's all they lose. Yeah, okay. They also have Texas A&M at Kyle Field.
Yeah, they're gonna be like I don't know. I think Elko gonna do some stuff. I don't know about year 1 though. That's just me.
Again though, they gotta play him at A&M. It's freaking Mizzou, Coach I.
But dog, they listen. He's again okay. So this is the thing,
34, bro. The teams they beat in the SEC were 14-34.
No, we could do that with a lot of coaches though. Like what's Brent Venables' signature win? I'm not taking anything away from Brent Venables.
Texas.
Okay, and
no, I get it. Look,
see, that's what I'm saying. So, we could do the same thing, huh?
He beat Texas, and Texas won 12.
Right, and that's a signature win. But outside of that, your schedule, like Georgia's schedule, we both talked about this last year. Neither one was hard last year. So, and the thing is, he's made jumps. He made the jump from year 1 to year 2. Dog, Drink While Weird has made improvements every single, like he's improved from like the first year, like he hasn't gone backwards. Like, yeah, like he was like, because I mean, yeah, like one of those years he was like 5-5 or 6-6 because of,
they
went
but 5-7 twice in his 4 years.
But they did it back to back. It's not like they went 8-9, 8-4, and then went 5-7. They didn't regress. He's gotten better. That's what I'm saying. Like, and he's just now getting to the point where he's actually getting.
He needed to win that much, and he did. He won. I'm just saying, it's not like we're going up against freaking two. We got to play Georgia too. You know what I mean? We're not talking about the same team. I think that in the end, it's going to be tough for them to win 10 again. I think it's tough for them to win 10 again. I don't know how. I think Arkansas with Taylor Green plus Bobby Petrino could be a pain in their ass.
Hey, I don't doubt hard games. I'm talking about teams that
Auburn could be one of those teams that could beat them too.
It could be. I mean, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. 10 wins isn't a guarantee for them any more than it is for anybody.
No, I didn't say it was a guarantee. I said that I think they could win 10, whereas is a lot of people saying they can't win 10. Saying you can't win 10 is like, bro, they can literally legit win 10 games this year, dog.
Oh, like, they should. I only think that they're not favored in like one.
That's what I'm saying. So
or maybe two. Oklahoma and Alabama would be the only two games that they're probably not favored in, except hold on. I've got that. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's realistic and they can have a.
I think that because I don't think A&M is favored to or is not favored to win any but like one.
Right. So if you go on, that's what I'm saying. So if you look at it, like we talking about games they should be favored in outside of the Bama game, and right now we're saying the Oklahoma game. Who else are they gonna not be favored against? Like they'll be favored.
A&M would be the other one, is what I'm saying.
See, I think they're gonna be favored against A&M.
I don't think they are. I'm pretty sure that they're not. I'm just telling you off of the.
Okay, yeah, pull that up and see who they're favored in and who they're not favored against. Because I think, like I say, it's
toss-up games in there, but I'm pretty sure that it was. Where the fuck is it? Hold on, let me find it. And I gotta get rid of some of this junk on the damn desktop. Here it is. Okay. TAMU. Or no, Missouri. Here we go.
Ooh.
They've got 3 toss-ups. They're favored to lose 3. Or it's expected by this is the CFB professor guy. His analytics are right up there with the ESPN FPI. So or actually,
the Texas A&M is the 3rd game that they're currently not favored to win.
Expected to not win. Now. Yeah.
All right.
So they've got, and they're all 3 toss-up games. So we're talking, it's like A&M giving them 2. Oklahoma or Alabama's.
You said A&M. Their A&M's favored by 2 currently.
Yes. So
I got you. Well, that's a toss-up. Yeah, for sure.
It's a toss-up. Yeah, actually, the Alabama's not a toss-up. It's 9 points.
Yeah, I figured Alabama would be a clear.
And then Oklahoma's a toss-up being there.
So outside of Alabama, who is there anybody pick? Like we all know Vegas and the odds that give you 3 points one way or the other. So 3 points one way or the other is a toss-up. So outside of Bama, is anybody favored by more than 3 points against Mizzou?
No, but well, okay, and I would say that it's a toss-up for sure with A&M because of the fact that the A&M's got 2. If you add the 3 for being a home game, that means really it's 5 points the other way, probably.
No.
So it'd be right on.
Yeah, it's that means technically it's a pick 'em.
Yes, it is. With Oklahoma, the fact that Oklahoma's giving 1.5 and they're on the road, so that means Oklahoma would be a toss-up basically.
Right, it's a pick 'em because the home team, right.
Either way. But they're expecting OU to win more like by 4, but with the home field advantage. If you bake that in again, we're talking baking it in. But this is this is more of that this is obviously a power ranking or whatever, but his picks, he's got them going 9-3.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, 9-3. You know, I don't doubt. Like I say, I'm not gonna argue with that. Like I said, I just said it's more possible than people are saying for Mizzou to win 10.
Sure, because of who they play.
Right. That matters. It's even if they lose to OU and A&M.
This changed from the first going around. He's got A&M. Their record ceiling's 11-1, but he's got them going 7-5 because he's got them in 5 toss-ups and he's got them going 1-4 in toss-up games.
Gotcha. But what does this guy have OU going?
9-3.
And how many toss-ups?
He's got them in 6 toss-up games, 3-3 in toss-ups.
Gotcha.
He's got a record ceiling of 12-0, which is actually Texas. He doesn't even have Texas. It'd be 6-6 would be the floor because he's got them in 6 toss-ups.
6 toss-ups. Gotcha. What has he got Ohio State in? He should like no toss-ups other than Michigan.
I have to go on here and like pull that one off of there. But
I'm just interested. I like to compare like how he does.
It's a good question. It's a good question. Let me
because I mean I got if there's a team out there. No, because they play Oregon too. So yeah, they may be a toss-up in the Oregon game because Ohio State's schedule is way harder than Michigan's.
Oh, no doubt, but not by a ton, really. Well, is it harder?
Yeah, because Michigan doesn't have to play Oregon.
They have to go on the road to Oregon, and Michigan gets. Yeah, no, I'm talking.
Yeah. They didn't. You know what I noticed about the Big Ten? The Big Ten didn't do what the SEC did. So with OU and Texas coming in, everybody had to play one or the other. You know what I'm saying? Like with Washington and Oregon coming in, which would be the big 2. I know the other teams coming in, USC came in or whatever. Michigan doesn't have to play Washington or Oregon. I don't think.
Really?
I might be wrong on that, but I just know that when you look at Ohio State schedule, let me pull up Ohio State schedule. And then Michigan schedule is not, it's like the difference. I would say personally, it's like the difference between Texas and OU schedule.
So Michigan, he's got projections he's got them projected to go 6-6. This is Minnesota, not Michigan. Damn it.
Okay. Let's see. Michigan does play Washington. Okay, so I was wrong. Michigan does play Washington and Oregon. My bad.
Okay, yeah. So Michigan's
Ohio State got the
on the road at Washington. They've got Illinois on the road, Indiana on the road, Ohio State on the road. They don't play Oregon.
I was actually backwards. Ohio State got the better deal. Yeah, Ohio State got the better deal. They got Oregon, and that's it. Everybody else is a Big Ten member.
He's got Michigan going 8-4.
Yeah.
With 4 toss-ups, though. So let's see. Okay, in Ohio State, he's got them projected to go undefeated.
Hey. I'll just look at this. Right.
He says their floor is undefeated. They're not losing a game.
Listen, like I say, I had it flip-flop. It's Michigan with the hard schedule and Ohio State. Ohio State got Oregon and Michigan.
Chance to win. His low percentage chances to at Oregon is 68%. It's still 68%. And that's the at Oregon. They got at Penn State. The rest of it's a trash ass schedule.
Bruh. Listen, they didn't get any of the 4 newcomers other than Oregon. Michigan got 3 of the newcomers.
Yeah.
Now I'm not say they got USC,
USC
got Oregon. I know. I'm just saying when you talk about you don't play them every year, whatever. Like I just feel like
no.
They should have gave Michigan 2.
Michigan at least got them at home though. They got both of those teams at home, by the way.
So let's just go off of 2023. Let's just go off of 2023. Oregon and Washington were the standard. So Michigan should have had to play 1, and Ohio State should have had to play 1. And then with the other 2, USC and UCLA, Michigan should have had to play 1, and Ohio State should have. That's how the SEC divvied up Texas and OU. You know what I'm saying? Everybody plays either Texas or OU. Nobody plays both of them.
But and nobody. What we were just talking about, but Texas got the freaking easy of that too, though. They only. The only other team aside from Oklahoma that it was a top end team, where Oklahoma's playing Ole Miss, they're playing Mississippi State. Where Oklahoma's playing Missouri, they're playing freaking Arkansas.
Right. So like if you so if you go by how the SEC finished when dividing them up between you two, that's why we always say Texas got the easier schedule, because the top 4 teams in the SEC last year was Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Missouri, and then Tennessee. You guys played 4 of those 5. So and they play 1 or 2, only 2 of those 5. So they play us.
It's not even really a toss-up for Oregon. It's 7. It's not. He don't have it projected as a toss-up.
Right? Dang. Yeah, they only play 1 of those top 5 teams. Yeah. So
he's got them picked to beat Nebraska by freaking 26 points. They're only spreads that are under double digits are 2 games.
Is this is this guy an Ohio State guy or a Fox guy?
He's not. He's actually a Nebraska guy. He likes Nebraska.
I don't know. Listen, man.
It's a math thing. It's a math thing with him.
Okay. I was about to say I've literally never projected anybody.
His CFB top 25 has been better than ESPN's FPI for freaking 6 years in a row, man. This dude's the real deal.
I've never projected anybody to go 12-0. Not anybody.
He's just going by the simulations on his math stuff, though.
Right.
Have them even having an opportunity to lose one.
That
was the one that I'm not too sure about. I would tell you that, except for if you look at who they are, who Ohio State is, they should not. And that schedule, there's no freaking way they should lose. Again, Dan Lanning hasn't won a big game yet. Not one.
That's big. That's facts. That's facts. That's
he couldn't even beat Oregon State the first year. I mean,
that's tough right there, dog. Yeah,
Let's
you
see,
didn't have a chance to lose.
He's got him projected to go 11-1 at Iowa again. Son of a bitch. It tells you what they're doing. Okay, so he's basically got them 8-4 across the board with Michigan. But if you look at really they don't really have any toss-up games. He's either for them or against them pretty much as far as what his analytics are saying.
Okay, I got you. All right.
So yeah, I don't know. Just going by what he's done in the past. I mean, you can go on there and take a look. And in fact, I'll even show you.
I'm with Ben G. I think this is Urban Meyer's spreadsheet.
By the way, since you brought that up, that's hilarious. By the way, thank you, Ben G.
Oh God.
What do you think about what Urban Meyer said about this? Might be the best Ohio State roster ever.
Talent. I don't think he's lying. Talent wise. Now, what they do in production?
If you're Ryan Day, though, it's like, oh, thanks, coach. Appreciate it.
Right. So I mean, like, if you talking about right, if you're talking about talent, now we ain't talking about production, because Ohio State is, they just been winning for forever. But like talent wise,
you gotta win it first. But yeah, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that.
It is crazy out here, bro.
Look, with that roster, and then they've been talking about that they're going to play, that they may play Caleb Downs at running back.
At running back. So I heard, in high school that dude he's a player,
bro, he was an unbelievable football player. Anyway,
I just think
no toys around.
I don't think there'll be a need. Honestly, that's what I would say. I don't think there'll be a need. They got Travion Henderson and Quinshon Junkins.
It's not like they don't have anybody behind those two also.
Right. So I don't think there'll be a need for it, to be honest with you. But hey, we'll see.
They're stacked, but weak at quarterback. Okay, by weak you mean what? I mean, they got 2 guys that they're young at quarterback is what they are.
Right, and I think referring to Will Howard.
I like Devin Neal. Will Howard sucks.
Well, see, that's what I think he's referring to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The thing is, here's the question though. If we're assuming, because first, Chip Kelly has done great things with quarterbacks in the past as well, especially at the college level.
Yep.
And so is Ryan Day.
Oh yeah.
So if you expect him to even be a little bit better, and the fact is they don't have to play anybody.
Well, CJ Stroud was CJ Stroud. People still argue that Justin Fields didn't make any progression. It was a system thing with Ryan Day. That's what people.
Maybe.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying You know,
depends on who you ask. Depends on
right.
who you
Depends on who you ask. But yeah, I think Chip Kelly definitely. I think the combination of the two.
That was a good move. That was a good move.
Like the question is, will their offensive line hold up? That's really the only question with Ohio State. Like,
yeah, they got that center from Alabama that couldn't freaking get a shot.
Right, they kept right. So I think that's one of the
Howard pisses down his legs in pressure situations is the concern I have. It's not that he isn't able to play; it's that he's not great under pressure, and they're going to be under pressure in the Michigan game.
That's true, but you can make it to the
they
playoffs
lost
and then not have
there's going to be pressure.
Right.
Now, do I think they get beat? Yes. In fact, the professor has Ohio State favored to win by 24.
Wow.
You lost a lot of guys from Michigan. It makes sense.
Yeah,
and
a new coach
at the shoe also.
And a new coach. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So a new coach, you got to deal with that. So
why do you think? Okay, Benji, let me ask you a question. You do think Oregon catches them again? Well, Oregon catches them in the championship game. Is that what you're saying? So are you saying you think they're going to beat them? Because until I see Dan Lanning win a game that matters, I don't want to hear that shit. I mean, they haven't really won a big game yet. Now that doesn't keep Oregon out. If they only time they lose is in the championship game and then the regular season, they're still going to be in the playoff.
Right.
But again, what bothers me about the Lanning thing is the same thing they say about they've got them as elite coaches, all these coach rankings all over the place. Have both those guys in the top 10, and neither one of them have done shit.
Hey man, you know how it is, dog.
Yeah.
I think those guys are good. Like I think there's a lot of good coaches.
I think they're decent coaches. When we're starting to ranking them, and you've got the one from On 3, they had Dan Lanning at number 3.
They say
ahead of Dabo and shit like that. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
They say the third best coach, dog.
There ain't no damn way. There ain't no damn way. They had him above Kalen DeBoer, who's beaten him 3 times, 3-0 against him. They have him above Kalen DeBoer. I mean,
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I look at the list when they put out these lists, and when Dabo ain't top 3, I don't like when Nick Saban before Nick Saban, retired. If Dabo wasn't in the top 3, I'm like, And I get it, people don't like that Dabo doesn't use the portal and all that. But if we're talking about just in the current climate,
coaching acumen, you have to say Dabo is like
he's top 2 or him and Kirby. They both
as far as national championships. If I'm saying I think that there's some guys that are right up there with him that are not at programs that can win a natty.
Right now, if you just take it,
Lance Leipold.
I like Kyle Whittingham, but I don't think he's going to get a natty.
I don't either. But that doesn't mean he's not an elite coach. It just means he doesn't have an elite job. Facts.
Like I think Kalen DeBoer is a good coach. He's won everywhere he's gone. People are comparing him to the trajectory of Urban Meyer. I want to
104 and 12.
Right. I want to hold off on that because Urban Meyer went from Utah, who was not a P5 at the time, to a P5. And as soon as he got to the P5, he won a natty. Now, DeBoer did make it to a natty. He just didn't win it.
Yeah.
So.
No, I know that. And I mean, look, they were overmatched. For that being a Joe Moore line, they were overmatched in that freaking championship game against that. The thing about Michigan is like we were saying, you had 5th and 6th, 7th year guys that were just men now. All there is to it. Been through wars. As long as they didn't have to go up against Georgia, they were probably going to be better than everybody else in the trenches, and it worked. It worked for them that last time. And I think Harbaugh left rightfully so. It win and leave.
Right. So Lannon,
all you can do is go down.
Lannon did beat Utah.
Okay, he beat Utah once.
True.
No, he's beaten Utah twice. Okay.
Well, the second time, they didn't have
their quarterback. So. Yeah, but hey, Lincoln Riley didn't beat him either time.
Like it's a lot of people that like I say, I think a lot of terms get thrown around. There's only a handful of elite coaches. Like I think there's a lot of good coaches that may have a trajectory, but there's not a lot in that elite conversation.
That's why I'm saying he's not an elite head coach. And DeBoer is good, but here's the thing. Lanning did beat Utah, and then he turned around and lost back-to-back games with Washington, and then lost to Oregon State when they had a freaking 20-point lead. And this was before DJU got there. They didn't really have a quarterback that year, and they still lost that game. So to me, he's suspect in big games. The first game against freaking Washington last year, that was going for it on fourth twice down there before that. I wasn't a fan.
They had a real shot to win the first game. The second game, I don't think it was. I don't think it was as possible. I ain't gonna say it's not possible as close to, but that first game. He definitely had a chance, real shot.
He should have. No, I mean, I understand doing it one time or whatever, but you go down there, you take the points right off the bat. Two out of those three times that they had fourth down, and the thing was it's not like they were on the one or anything like that. I mean, we're not talking about a situation where they were. The one of them was like a 4-yard deal. To get a first, it was just dumb. They should have went.
Benji's got the stat. He's 4-4 versus ranked teams. So the best thing you can say about that is he doesn't have a losing record against ranked teams, but he doesn't have a winning record.
What does that even really mean? Because Oregon State wasn't ranked when they beat them.
So let me ask you a question, and the people in the comments: who's a better coach? They both have only had 2 years. Okay. Who's a better coach, Dan Lanning or Brent Venables?
Dan Lanning came into a situation where he had a ready-made team already. That Cristobal, the one thing Cristobal was good at was recruiting. It didn't turn into a dumpster fire when he left.
So you're saying BV is better than Dan Lanning?
I think BV's better. Yeah, I think that he's got more of a track record of a DC than what
he's definitely been coaching. He's got more experience. In my book, I got them both as on the same level.
I would say that they're pretty similar. Yeah, I mean, as far as proving it,
super recruiters. I think they're both really good recruiters. I think they both improved. I think they showed
both
that
really
they
good coaches as far as their defenses are concerned too. I've said this
guys.
Before. Here's what I've said, and I continue to say it: what Brent Venables has to do this year, he needs to take that next step that we talk about Marcus Freeman taking too.
Freeman's and actually, because this is his third year too, right?
Correct. And I would also say the same thing about Dan Lanning, though. Dan Lanning is set up in a situation where, how many of those teams that you played were better than you in those first 2 years? How many of them were better than you? Whatever. Bottom line is, you, especially with your roster the way that it was, I could question just as much for Dan Lanning as I could question for anybody else. And that I would say the same for Marcus Freeman. Marcus, they had a better schedule last year, but this schedule this year, if they don't win 11 games, Marcus is in trouble. Coach doesn't think he necessarily is. He's not going to get fired. They're not going to be happy. You got Denbrock back. You've got a quarterbacks. You're good on both lines. Great secondary. You need to win 11.
Fight On says Lanning is the better coach. What about everybody else? Who thinks who's the better coach, Venables or Lanning?
Fight On says. How do you
Ben G? This man, you gotta make sure you subscribe to the Fanatic, Ben G.
How do you figure that's the case? Other than you hate on Oklahoma because you're a USC fan and you have poor old Lincoln Riley.
I like Stink Ass Cat says a few years is needed to determine for both.
I would agree with that.
That's why I say I got them both. I got them both at the same level. I think I got Freeman is shown. I think Freeman for me is right in that. I think they all have more to prove.
I like all three of them, man. I'm not even saying I don't like Dan Lanning. I'm just telling you I don't like it that they have him as an elite coach. He's getting ranked all this way whenever he went into a better situation. That's it.
Right. Yeah. He definitely has more to prove. Definitely is one. So I think it's Lanning. Benji says Lanning separates himself this season.
By how though? By how?
He's gonna have to beat Ohio State to do that. He's gonna have to beat Ohio State to do it.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what. Let's look at
his schedule, because if he doesn't have a hard schedule,
they don't.
You know, major wins is a thing. You got to have some wins. So.
He's got them projected 11-1. They've got no toss-up games as well. So he's at. Yeah, they play their Idaho, Boise State, at Oregon State, at UCLA, Michigan State. The Ohio State games at home. They've got them losing that at home. At Purdue, Illinois, at Michigan, Maryland, at Wisconsin, Washington.
So it sounds like if he doesn't win the Ohio State game, he won't have
not a huge one.
He won't have like a major win or
Michigan won, and they've got him favored to beat Michigan by 8. So you better win that game.
Okay.
Even though it's in the big house, you better win the game because you're favored to win by 8.
Okay.
UCLA's trash.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, I mean, Wisconsin, maybe they're good.
I don't know, man.
I'm not sure yet either. I don't know what I think about that quarterback. The kid didn't do shit at Miami. Now, I'm a fan of Luke Fickell. I think he's a good coach.
Right. I think Matt Rule.
I don't know where they are, man. I just don't know where they are.
Right.
I think they may be still a year away from really being.
I think Wisconsin may have a harder schedule than Matt Rule at Nebraska, though. I mean, I kind of compared them to because they both came in.
Yeah, I think they're pretty close to the same, don't you think?
Right. So yeah. So I don't know who else is in here to say Mars. Well, I know Mars beat Ohio State and Michigan.
Something is wrong with this guy's damn thing. He's got USC going 12-0.
So I told you, dog. Like nobody should be picked to go 12-0, bro.
There ain't no fucking.
That's crazy, dog. You can't pick a team to go 12-0. I don't care who you are, dog. Like.
Well, and I'll tell you why though. If we go back and look at this, I'm gonna have to question him. He's supposed to come on the show, so we're gonna have to do that. But, all right. The toughest game, the tough game that they have supposedly, and they've got them. I don't know about this. They go at Michigan, but the LSU game, that's the only toss-up game he's got. That's a neutral site. He's got to pick to win though. But then they go LSU, Utah State, Michigan, Wisconsin, at Minnesota, Penn State at home. That's the next one. Penn State at home is another. It's not a toss-up here, but because he's got them winning it. At Maryland. I mean, Rutgers. I don't know that they're going to deal with the travel as well as he apparently thinks. This is according to his. But you know, these power ranking things are kind of what they are sometimes too. It just kind of tells you.
Yeah.
Last year's Josh Pates was the year that Texas went freaking 8-5, and he still had them in the top 5 of his power ranking every freaking week. Power rankings just kind of they are with
I've always been kind of like in the clouds about the power rankings. I'm thinking power rankings are
different. They're definitely different. It's what they go up what you would do against somebody at a neutral site. That's basically what
I got you. Okay, I got you.
But I'll tell you what his rules are here. It's what he's calculating is team roster talent, home field advantage, season strength of schedule, returning production. Those are his nets. So it says the little guide, a team's index is how it compares to all other teams given the 4 major elements of the model formula, which is what I just said to you. The 4 elements are roster talent, coaching staff efficiency, returning production, and returning experience. The roster talent ranking shows the composite team talent given 4 years of recruiting plus transfer portal additions and subs and subtractions. The returning production is the percent of a team's returning player contributions In cases where a player transfers in, his previous school production is considered in the context of the school being transferred to. For example, a wide receiver's production coming from an air raid wouldn't be as impactful going to an offense running the triple option. Okay.
I got you.
I get what he's saying.
Makes sense. All right.
So he doesn't exactly give you his numbers for like coaching. He says it's coaching those returning roster talent. Usually goes, what is the for? Oh, roster talent, coaching staff efficiency, returning production, and then returning experience. So you can see what the returning experience is.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Well, nobody said that they're not. Right on, you get so butthurt about it. Why do you think that? I mean, what has Dan Lanning shown us that he's better than? If you're going to say this stuff, why are you telling us that? How has Dan Lanning shown that he's better than Brent Venables? He was handed a good roster. I mean, what are we talking about? It's again, I'm not saying that I don't think Dan Lanning's a good coach. That's the whole deal. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I'm saying that he hasn't proven it any more than anybody else, and they've got all these rankings out there that have him in the top 10 and top 5, and one of them is in the top 3. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Oh, this is when did you text me? Just now? Yeah, we're actually about to get out of there, Jake. Yeah, I don't either on that, Mars. All right, guys. Yeah, we've been going for a while. Coach I, tell everybody how to find you. You're going back on in the morning.
Oh yeah, Fanatic Sports on YouTube, Twitter, IG, Facebook, Breakfast Tailgate Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. We'll have Dave Talks Buffs coming on tomorrow, and if everything holds up, we're going to talk a little baseball. Well, of course, we always talk college football, but we'll talk, Fanatic Sports. It's actually 2 T's, Benji. If you put my can you put my hand? I don't know if you can put my hand.
Yeah, it'll be in there. It's already.
Yeah. So if you just go at Fan,
here, I got you. It's at Fanatic. I bet it'll be.
I put it in the comments. I put it in the comments.
It'll be in the top of the description.
Right, and right. Coach is coming on in the morning. We're gonna, like I say, we're gonna talk a little baseball. We're gonna touch on a little baseball, little Olympic trials, and of course college football. With Dave Talks Buffs. So we got a little surprise in the morning. Y'all make sure y'all get up and tune in for the breakfast tailgate in the morning, man. We got some good stuff going on.
Yep. Yeah. I may pop in, but I may not. I've got some stuff I got to do, Coach.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, because I'm about to say, Merle is coming on too. So
Jake.
Right, Jake's coming on, Dave is coming on, and then Stat will be there. So
okay,
we be good. Just if you can hop in the comments.
We'll tap in with you either way. We'll tap in.
Right, big facts. Yeah, so man, y'all check us out, man, at Fanatic Sports, baby. Appreciate you, BNG, man. Yes, I appreciate you. Stinkcast, yeah, man. We definitely appreciate you, dog. Stinkcast been tapping in with us for sure.
Yeah, bud.
Yeah, man. Appreciate all the fans.
Everybody, and I do appreciate everybody coming in. Eric Basham, Stinkass Cat. Stinkass Cat, I gotta say it the right way.
Fight on, get you. Yeah, Eastern. Sorry, 10 a.m. Eastern time, people. Right. So if you Central, that's 9. Of course, you work your way back. West Coast guys. Sorry, man. I know that's 7 a.m. for you, but fight on. Join us over on Fanatic Sports, man. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and sub to the channel. Become a part of the Fanatic Sports community, dog. We like to keep it real and talk stuff over there too. We appreciate you having us on as always.
Love having you on, brother. Love having you on.
All right, man. We got out of here. I got some other stuff to do too. So
okay, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Later. Coach I from Fanatic Sports Network. We appreciate him coming in. Also, Oni Kuno for coming in as well. Fight on, man. BV isn't top 5. Okay, neither is Lincoln, and neither is Lanning. So it is what it is. Appreciate it, Eric. Guys, all you guys that have come in, even you trash talkers, I appreciate you all coming in here. We're gonna interact, coming back and forth, but it's always gonna be, you're gonna say what you think. I'm gonna say what I think. That's how it is. Appreciate it. I appreciate you coming in, Benji, Mars, Jams, Lee. Thanks for coming on. Fight on, Natty Stick, Cat, Coach Merle, Jake. Appreciate you, brother. The Stash, in other words, of course, Coach as well. Mars Jams. Let's see, Fisherman. Who else we get in here? Keaton Galactodon, as always. Let's see. I know we had Hankster was in here as well. All the normals. Chicken, thanks a lot, brother. Roger Dodger, see you in there as well. Shouty. Don't want to miss anybody, but thanks a lot, everybody, for coming in. Robbie Martin, T Boomer. Love you guys, man. Appreciate everybody coming in. Ryman Lemon. Hey, man. As normal, we are appreciating all you guys popping into the chat, having fun with us as we go. Sooner Lemon, otherwise known as Sooner Cherry Bear now. That's such a cute little name, Sooner Bear. Coach Ricks. Yeah, man, I appreciate all you guys. Cole Satterfield. Yeah, man, we had a lot in here. Make sure you get in there and hit that like button if you haven't already done that. Look, I don't do the asking for donations and stuff like that. Make sure that you hit the like button, though. Share us around and stuff. We're in here giving you opportunity to talk with us. I love interacting with everybody. Make sure you hit the like button and share it. All right. We'd appreciate that. If you would like to help, you can absolutely do so. But by get in there and check out our show merchandise, you get in there, you can do super chats as well. We actually have the links will be in there. I got to put the description in. I was a little running late this morning on getting finished with work. So I'll put it in there, but Coach I's description's already stuff in there, so you can find it. And then, but if you ever do want to do a super chat after the fact and stuff, we've got Venmo and Cash App in there as well. Honestly, it's the best way to, give us a donation would be to do that, because they don't take 60%. So we'd appreciate it either way. Either way, man, we appreciate you coming in as long as you just hit the button. Interaction is the best thing. It's important. Yeah, go grab that shirt, the hats. Hey, man, we got a lot of cool stuff, man. In fact, I'm fixing to do another one that I think the Okie fans will like. But we get the competitive depth. I'm working on another one there for a hat. So, I mean, that can work for any program. But lots of cool stuff in there. And again, folks, make sure that, look, you can find me on Twitter anyway. If you guys, anybody that's like a graphic designer, stuff like that, you want to put something on a t-shirt, man, I'll throw it up there. If it's something that everybody's going to like. Hey, I appreciate the audience kind of chipping in like that. As I said, I enjoy kind of getting in there and talking with you guys about a lot of this stuff. It was fun having this discussion. Really, we started the whole thing out today talking about who is the biggest, the all Benedict Arnold team. And let's kind of think about what we were talking about there. Kevin Durant, obviously this Jim Schlossnagle guy from Texas A&M, to leave Texas A&M to Texas. This may be one of the more egregious ones of forever. As an Oklahoma fan, most Oklahoma fans would say, because of taking the Heisman Trophy winner, stuff like that, and going to USC, all of you fans are going to say screw Lincoln Riley forever. But they would also say the same thing about Kevin Durant, and especially when he's a Longhorn too. So, yeah. But I also I know Coach I had his own little parameters for it, but I actually like the idea of what we were talking about with LeBron. When you go on television and, Cleveland is your hometown or near your hometown or whatever, and you leave, that was a good one. A lot of good stuff like that, man. Got to do one for that character. Hey, you know what? I can put one of those on there. I can do that. Yep. The stash one, the one that I put up there. Yeah, I'll do that. I should throw that on there. That's a good idea. I'll put that on there too. One for the stash. Yep. Set the tone. Yeah, you know, and I'm doing some other stuff on that too. But guys, again, we appreciate everybody coming in and all the interaction that we got today. We've had just on the YouTube side, we've had 500 viewers. We don't only have, let's see, what am I looking at? We have, man, come on, only 37 likes for 500 viewers. Come on, boys, help us out here. That means we're not getting everybody to hit the damn button. It's free. Help us out. Appreciate it. All right, guys, thanks a lot for coming in. We will see you on the next one.